I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Fury fam and Fins fans from across the nation, across the world, welcome to another episode of L.G Shake the panel. I am your host, Larry K. It's a Victory Tuesday, and I'm dressed for the occasion, as you can see. We slaughtered the New York Giants, and we did it while shooting ourselves in the foot multiple times. 3 turnovers, 2 ill-advised interceptions. One of them, it looked like Tua's hand hit the helmet of an offensive lineman. Another one resulted in a pick 6. The score should have been a lot worse. We dominated the Giants on both sides of the ball, but that's expected, right? We're not in here going to toot our horns about beating the Giants, who are reeling, absolutely reeling, allowing 11 sacks the week before us. Daniel Jones sustains a neck injury when Andrew Van Ginkel just crushes him with a clean hit from the back. And at the end of the day, man, we were on our game to some extent, but we were actually really off our game. You knew this was going to be a win. It better be a win, especially coming off the Buffalo loss, and that's exactly what happened. End of the day, we got some things to iron out, and that's what happens from time to time in this season-long journey, and that is what it is. Devon Achane just continuing to dominate. Unfortunately, I think a lot of you got the news, as I got the news, that Achane is going to be out for a couple weeks. Now, there's a lot of, different discussion over how long is he going to be out of the rotation. Is he going on the injured reserve? Initially, there were a lot of fears that perhaps, he was going to be out indefinitely or out for the season. It seems as though he is vaguely week to week, and what I mean by vaguely week to week is he's not coming back this week, right? He's probably not coming back for the Eagles. And if he goes on IR, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 4-week, and then you have the bye week type thing, 5 to 6 week IR or 5 to 6 week injury for Devon Achane, our absolute stud and star of a running back. It is what it is, but it's also next man up. Remember, Raheem Mostert is still getting a lion's share of the carries for a lot of reasons. So this is not the end of the world for this team. But we have to fight on. And I don't want to hear any woe is me, we lost Devon Achane, regardless of what a revelation he's been. The fact is, look at what the Buffalo Bills are dealing with injuries. Look at what even the Patriots are dealing with injuries. Look what happened to the Jets a couple plays into their highly, anticipated season. These things happen, and it's sad and it's unfortunate, but these are the things that happen in the NFL season. At the end of the day, we lose Teron Armstead, we lose Jalen Ramsey, we lose Devon Achane, but guess what? The good news is every one of those guys is expected to come back. Every one of those guys is expected to come back sometime this year. So you've got to have some optimism and count your blessings to some extent that that's going to be the case. Couple that with the fact that the Buffalo Bills lost. They lost over in London to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I don't want to crack on them too much because, don't forget, the Jacksonville Jaguars were a playoff team last year. So we don't want the Jacksonville Jaguars to find their stride. We are in a conference-wide race for playoff position. Do not mistake that. Every game against every conference foe matters a lot. Even games against NFC teams matter because they determine record, which goes into determining how we do in the playoff seeding. And it's a big thing for us because if you haven't noticed, we play better at home, it seems, and we want to stay away from those real cold, inclement weather cities. So you want to be in a position to position yourself for the playoffs. So it's huge that the Buffalo Bills lost. We got a big game coming up against Carolina, another game that we should win, another chance against a team that, is not great, that we should, if we take care of business, beat, and a team where, we can afford an extra week of getting our guys healthy and getting our guys ready to come back and do what they have to do for the playoff push as the season winds down. I thought Mike McDaniel was a little bit cute at certain points early in the game. I wanted to smash something when he's throwing the ball all over the place and we're getting mistakes. Instead of running the ball, we're running the ball at an epic clip. And I see Lucci behind the scenes. You guys can't see him smirking because he's been saying this since before the season even started. He's been saying it since last season, and it's a fact. And he was saying it during the game to me, and we were on a comment. And then, sure enough, I'm like, this guy's a clown for not running the ball. Next thing you know, he runs the ball an entire drive. And what happens when he runs the ball an entire drive? Do we get behind the sticks? Do we cause a turnover? Do we get a turnover? Does our offense stagnate? The answer is no, 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 and no. We dominate. We run all the way down the field and score. Don't forget the fundamentals of football. The fundamentals of football are still, I'm here, I got to get 100 yards and into the end zone, and I got to constantly get 10 yards within 3 tries to do that. If you're running the ball at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13 yards a clip, you could do that every time. And guess what? The clock runs, and the other team is not on the field. Now, when we're playing teams like Philly and KC, granted, we might not be able to run the ball every time against them. The defenses are going to have something to counter that. But the minute a defense counters the run and emphasizes stopping the run, we have ridiculous weapons in the pass game, and that's opened up, and we exploit that. And the minute they try that zone nonsense again, like the Giants were trying a little bit with the drop in the linebackers, you run all over them again. And we could do it all year till you get a really stout defense that gives us problems. And there's a couple, but there's only a couple. There's only a handful. And the beauty of it is when you're playing guys like Mahomes, like Hurts, when you're playing guys like that, if you could keep them off the field while you're picking up points, instead of just chucking the ball downfield and giving them a chance, you can get out of some of those shootouts, and you can instead just be in absolutely dominant and dominating performances. And so, look, we got one more week. We got to take care of business. It's the NFL. No team is a pushover. No team's a non-power 5, FCS game. This is not college. Every team could bring it. Any given Sunday, any team could beat you. We're down a couple starters, but we got to take care of business, and I expect us to take care of business. We got to take care of business. And then once we take care of business, it's time for another big test for this franchise when we go play Philly, which is another power this year. It's another team. Right now, they're undefeated. They have some weaknesses we can exploit, and I expect us to be able to do that. But it's a big litmus test once again for this team. And then we have another one coming up shortly after with the Chiefs. So, and I know the Patriots are just reeling, but that's a division game. And I will probably be at that game, and that's a division game. And then the Jets, they beat Denver. They're getting hyped about it. I'm not. At the same time, that's a tough defense. So, and they're going to want to play us tough too. That's a rival. Okay? So, big tests coming up. Big tests coming up. Fury fam, I'm glad you're in the building. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're one away from 1460, and I'm telling you, we got to hit 1,500 in the month of October. We're in the middle of that subscriber push. 1,500 in the month of October. Let's do it. By the way, if you haven't heard, YouTube has decided to come after me for some reason. I don't get it. It's a lot of nonsense going on with YouTube trying to knock me off kilter because Fury Fam is representing so hard that they're trying to knock me off. But here's what I'll ask you guys. If you're a member, stay a member. You're going to be reinstated. It looks like January is probably going to be the next time I could get remonetized. So if you're a member, stay a member. Don't change anything. It'll automatically kick back in. If you want to donate to the channel, and thanks to some awesome, supporters of the channel, we're able to pay our bills at least for the next 2 months. We're good. so I'm not going anywhere, okay? And I can handle some of it too. I started handling it when I started, but it's nice to break even. I'll put the Cash App in the chat at some point. You want to hit me with that, I appreciate it. But in the meantime, the anthem is Free Larry. Free Larry K, man. That's what it is. I'm telling you, I'm going to get some little merch that we could rock, you know what I mean, just to support Free Larry. But I'm out here for you because I'm out here for the people. And we're all working dudes like I always talk about. This channel's dudes who go to work every day and then want to talk their fins. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to work. I could eat. I could sleep, okay? So we're good. We're here for you. We're here for the fins. We're here for the conversation. But that's what's going on. Want to let you guys know that. Smash that subscribe button, though. Let's tell YouTube, I'm here to stay. I'm not stopping. My subscriptions are going to keep going up, even if they're taking that little bit of money away from me. It is what it is. Free Larry, Fury Fam, all day, every day. But without further ado, I got a young man in the New England area, fresh off serving Pall Malls and crushing schoolwork and boogieing and dancing and being a swaggy MFer just in general. I got him out here ready to give you folks a hell of a Tuesday victory introduction. And here he is, our very own G.
The Dolphins make me wanna kick your heels up, throw your hands up, throw your head back, come on now.
Yes.
Stand up now, come on and shout. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout it right now, baby. Come on, shout. Yeah. Buffalo's happy. We're on the feel the hype. They're making a lot of speed. Just pump your heart now. Let's go, Miami! Let's go, Miami!
You see what happens?
Let's go, Miami!
See what happens when the Dolphins win? See what happens? You see what you do to this young man? You get him pumped. You get him dancing to, older songs. I like when the young people embrace older music. It's very good. It's very wholesome. And here he is. Gee, I'm sure you felt good. I'm sure you felt good at watching this game. Get the rebound, the bounce back.
After the game ended, I was left a little disappointed. Thought we should have scored more. Thought we shouldn't have allowed 16 points, but it is what it is. Dolphins victory. I'm going to celebrate every which way.
Damn right. Damn right. I love it. I love it.
First order of business for Christopher Greer. Get Andrew Van Ginkel locked up. That's priority number one.
Agreed.
And the Bills. How about them Bills?
How about them Bills? That was a nice little surprise.
Patriots too?
Yeah,
I love it.
And you know what's funny is I forgot about the morning game. So I go to sit down to get ready for Sunday, and I'm like, shit, there's a morning game here. And I threw it on, and what do I see? I see the Bills losing. It's great. And by the way, Joe, who's a fan of the show, who's always in here, listen, I met him over the weekend. Joe Fontina actually came to an event I was hosting in Newark at the library. We do it for charity for the library, and I was hosting. I was grilling some brats. I was grilling some burgers. We had beer flowing from Newark Local Beer, a local brewery. And Joe rolls up on me. He's a bigger guy than I thought. And he's like, hey, you know me? I said, I don't know you. He says, I'm Joe from the show. I'm like, oh, great to see you. So I met him, and he was the one. He was like, yo, the Bills are losing. So I was like, shit, I forgot there was a game. Turned it on. Just a great weekend for Miami Dolphins fans and a great weekend for Fury fam in absolute general. But I gotta, I can't hold out on the people, guys. I can't hold out on the people.
I was watching that game at work, and let me tell you something. There was a fumble on the punt return like 25 seconds ago. And I was just standing there. Now, when I'm there by myself, I kind of talk to myself a little bit because there's nobody around to talk to unless the customers. I was at my phone. I was like, this team gets so I was whispering, by the way. I wasn't saying it out loud. This team gets so effing lucky every flipping time. This Josh Allen is one lucky son of a bee. And one of my coworkers come over, and they were like, are you screaming? Are you swearing at a football game? I'm like, no.
See, no, I swear at football games all damn day. I haven't sworn on this channel because I'm trying to behave, but we have a little bit of a window. We have a little bit of a window for a couple months, so maybe I'll drop an S-bomb here and there. But you know what I mean? Free Larry. That's the Cash App if you guys want to help out. But look, I just I gotta jump right into what we gotta do today, and you know what we gotta do today.
The good. The bad. The ugly.
Money, tell us, baby, what you got?
Well, first good, the Buffalo Bills lost. That's the first good.
Yes.
The second good thing is the fact that Tua Tagovailoa called a play, and he's taking more command. He's taking another step, into taking command in the huddle. A-Chain ran for a bunch of yards. The Bills lost. We put 500 offensive yards. That was a good. And the last thing, I was there at the game. And did I mention the Bills lost? Okay, that was the good.
Yes.
Okay. The bad, passing when we're throwing, we should be throwing. Running, passing when we should be running. A couple of turnovers here and there. But again, it was if we played our worst game, but it was against if we played a comparable team, I don't think we come away with that W. But we lost it. It's good we lost the turnover battle and still one-handedly. So I think at the end of the day, I think hopefully we're tightening up a little bit. And the ugly Dallas Cowboys and New England Patriots. Marron, like they say, Marron.
Yeah, that's bro. I'm impressed with you using that lingo of my people. That this was, the Monday was our day. I don't want to get into the whole, blah, blah, but it was our day, and I'm gonna still celebrate our day in a different word so that people don't get mad about it. All right.
But no, the reason how I learned that word is because I'm a big fan of Howard Stern.
Oh,
and when he had Artie Lang on there. That was
Mm-hmm.
one of his favorite things to say. Maron.
Yes, so damn right it is. Artie Lang, a local guy from around here in Newark, he had some trouble, and we've seen him, but we wish him the best and his recovery and whatnot. By the way, shout out to Ali, man. Ali out there just donated to the channel via the Cash App. That's appreciated, man. Free Larry. We're gonna get this bridge built right to January easy, man. We already got 2 months covered.
This Sunday, I got to meet the bull. I got to hang out with that's Crypto, that's Lewis, and that's Ali right there.
That's a good crew right
Lou,
there.
my guy Lou got the Waddle jersey, huh?
Oh yeah, and next week, except for Crypto, everybody's gonna be El Capitan's gonna be there, Color's gonna be there, the whole TFTG crew, and of course
that this Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday, and of course in 2 weeks the Fury Fam crew is gonna be there. Of
Yes,
course,
sir.
Greg.
In 2 weeks, man. The 29th. I'm
gonna be there.
I'm gonna be down in South Florida, man.
I grew up with. He's like my brother. I've known him his whole life. He grew up with my younger brother, who's 4 years younger than me. He's getting married on the 28th. I've known this way before this whole schedule. I have to go to that wedding.
I get it, bro.
I'm going to that wedding. No, don't get it. I'm going to that wedding, and I'm leaving the next morning. Normally, if I'm going to a Dolphins game, what I'll do is I'll leave Friday, and I'll get down there and I'll spend the weekend with my cousin. And then my cousin Giovanni, he comes with me to the game. He has the orange parking pass, and
dope.
He's a Vikings fan.
Are you going to the game,
he's a
Anthony?
Hurricanes, so he has connections. He has the pass. But anyways, the moral of the story is this time I'm just gonna. I don't care how I'm feeling after that wedding. I'm making it. If Larry K is gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. I got
nice, bro.
That's what's
I'm
up.
excited. I'm excited to kick it with both of you, man. Crack a brew, hang out, take some pictures, and just kick it, man.
I'm going to the Buffalo game, and I'll do the Buffalo
I'll
game
be there.
I'm supposed to. But
okay.
Shakes told me you'd be there for New England. I said, well, that's it. I'm coming to New England.
I love it, bro. Yeah, so we can have a little Fury fan. We had a whole Fury fan set up down there.
I don't care if I get 2-3 hours of sleep the night before. I don't give a damn. I'm leaving at 4 in the morning. Normally, it takes about a 4-hour drive from Daytona Beach to Miami. It takes me like 3 to get to Fort Lauderdale, so it'll be about another hour. I don't care if I got to leave 4 in the morning on 2 hours sleep, whatever. And that's my son's birthday. That day is Giovanni's birthday, the 29th. So it's kind of a big deal. And, you know, I asked him, what do you want to do? He's like, yeah, I want to go to the game. So
Nice, bro.
yeah,
So it'll be
we'll
nice to
down
see
there.
you and your son and everybody. It's going to be a really good time. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't been down to South Florida in a while. I've been to North Florida quite a bit recently, but I haven't been to South Florida in maybe 5 years or so. So it'd be nice to be back down there, man. Say what's up to everybody.
It's the
I'm
best
bringing
place in Florida, bro. If
It
you
is,
haven't
bro.
been to South Florida, you ain't been to Florida.
100%, bro. 100%.
Jacksonville is cool, man. It's a big city, the biggest land
North,
mass and all that.
yeah.
Man, miss me with that. If you haven't been to South Florida, you're missing out. I mean,
True
there's some
story.
in the Panhandle, but ultimately, South Florida is really.
Of course.
You
So
know,
I'm bringing the girl down there too. She's her first Dolphins game ever. So I'm gonna bring her through. She can meet you guys too. It's gonna be a good time, man. I'm looking forward to breaking bread. And if anybody has out there like the Tailgate Connect, let me know, because I'm either gonna get a pass and grab like
Save
a
your
car or
money.
rent or somebody. Yeah, if somebody has somebody they know, I'll come through. I'll bring some brews and we can kick it. So just let me know. We'll talk about that.
Yeah,
Looks
the best thing is to save your money. Pay when you get there. There's a place you can pay just to park.
Got you.
Park there and then just walk over to where we're at. That's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I'm not because it was such short notice. I'm not doing the whole orange parking pass.
Got you.
The prices will be astronomical if you can even find it. You really got to
Right.
have a plug for that. But you just park over there for 20, 30, whatever
Easy.
dollars, and then walk over. It's not that big a deal, bro.
Cool. Yeah, and then I'll see where you guys are at, and we'll all just link. That's what I'm planning.
Yeah,
on.
that's what it is, bro. And then that's what everybody really does, man. Because the people who have the orange parking pass is really like where it's at, and man, there's
Got
not
you.
gonna be that. It's not
Got
that
you, and it's
available.
expensive because that's where it's at. So I'll just walk over to that area,
Right. You
and
park
we'll just
over
kick
there
it.
and
Got you.
It's not that big a deal.
Got you. Sounds good to me, man. I'm looking forward to it. And it's gonna sneak up on us before you know it, right around Halloween.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
hyped for that game, man, and I'm hyped to come down
great.
there and then
Yeah,
see
yeah.
all you guys. So
Looks
it's gonna
like-
be a great time.
Hey, by the way, one of the this Thursday, I took a lot of pictures. We're not gonna do it today but this Thursday, I'm gonna be showing all the pictures and everything, my experience with the tailgate. But before I do, I just want to show. There was this dude. Shout out to Vincent. He was he showed me and Lewis love, and he had a duplicate ring of the '72 Dolphins. So I just wanted to show the Bills what a Super Bowl ring looked like.
Well, yo, and let me tell you guys
There you go.
something. That's dope. And let me tell you something. I got duplicate replicas of all 5, the 2 Super Bowl wins and the 3 AFC Championship rings, and I'm waiting to add to my collection when we win another ring, man. I want another one, but I'm waiting till I get a house so I could set up my little man cave or whatever where I'm gonna do the show and put them out on display. But for now, they're just locked up back here. But because I'm living in a damn apartment in downtown Newark, New Jersey, so you know how that goes. But they're cool. Those rings are cool,
The
man.
rings I ever bought was for the Miami Heat when we had the back-to-back.
Yeah, that's dope.
Um,
They're
what
cool.
happened
I mean,
was I was going to games. A friend of he was family in marriage, and he was the stat keeper. If you watch
Yes.
basketball, there's the table.
yes.
And the people sit at the table. Jim and God rest his soul. He just passed.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, about a week ago. Man, the guy was an incredible guy. He'd come to the Thanksgiving dinners, and Giovanni actually has a picture with the official championship ring. He let him have the ring and take the picture with the ring. But
That's dope.
he'd get his games, and then I had pictures on the court. We'd have floor seats, and so going to the games during those times, they sold replica rings at the stadium, and I bought them just because $20. What are you gonna do? It was pretty cool.
That's real
But
dope.
I never knew they had them for the Dolphins. As weird as that is, me being a deranged Dolphins fan,
I don't know what made me do it, bro. I was looking at them, and somebody had them, or I saw a picture of it somewhere. I was like, let me see if I can find them, and I did, and they were like,
So I'd
they
buy
weren't
them. If I knew that, I'd have them in my house, Larry. That's
Yeah,
not
bro.
weird.
I'll show you one day on the show. Actually, the banner of this channel is a picture of them.
Yeah.
Those are mine.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, those are mine. Those are the
all the
rings. Yeah, bro. Pretty cool. I'm waiting to add to it, man, because a new one's gonna be updated and dope, and I would love to get one of those.
man,
So
that'd be awesome.
and you bring it out for fun when you're in the house. You're not, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm hyped about the game, man. I'm hyped about the season. I'm hyped about a lot of things. And Shake, I'm sure you're hyped because you probably got some memes for us, bro.
Of course.
And we're gonna comment on them, and we're hyped for that.
All right. Well, everybody is talking about Taylor Swift. Well, here we go. We got this. Those 90 babies will enjoy this one.
They do it for Taylor. She's lost on
That's a
that.
true story right there. I'll tell
Yes,
you what.
sir. I watched the doc on that. That was
To
crazy.
understand that meme, but that is
Yes.
really true right there.
It is. It is, bro.
The
Our
lost-
age knows it.
Lucky again.
Yo, you know what
And-
that is, G? G, do you know what that meme is?
I understand the meme, but I don't know where it's from.
Well, why do you
Tanya-
understand about it?
Because Brittany Mahomes, she was the face of or I don't know if it was a face, but she was the more popular woman of the male Chiefs players, and now Taylor Swift coming in, now all the spotlight's on her. So,
But do
So-
you know what?
Yeah,
Now,
tell
you're
him.
absolutely correct, kid. But do you that meme that he showed? Do you understand what happened in that picture?
no.
Okay, let me tell you real quick.
Tell him.
Back in the early '90s, well, maybe it was mid '90s, when
I think it was like
we were
early to
their
mid,
age,
like 3-4 maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were the top figure skaters in the Olympics. So the girl that you see, the blonde, looking at the brunette, she was jealous of her, and she was kind of nervous whether she could beat her or not.
Was that Tanya Harding? Tanya Harding.
Tanya
right?
Harding, and the other one was
Tanya
Nancy
Harding.
Kerrigan.
Kerrigan.
That's right, and Nancy Kerrigan. So what Tanya Harding did was she had some goons come with the club and break Nancy Kerrigan's knees so she couldn't skate, she couldn't perform. That way to ensure she'd win. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
That's a true story. Look up the documentary and the movie,
True
Greg.
story.
It's interesting
Yeah.
stuff.
Having
True
said
story.
that, Tanya Harding's a funny broad these days.
She
fun.
is, bro.
She is.
Actually.
And she,
Yeah.
she never.
That-
I don't know if she ever admitted to it, but she's.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest stories behind that and Joey Buttafuoco. But
Oh yeah. I don't know if G knows. G, do you know that one? Do you know Joey Buttafuoco and Lorena Bobbitt? Oh. G, you got to look up the documentary called Lorena.
Yeah,
On Prime,
hey,
bro.
Lorena. Now,
And then you
Greg,
don't even
just
tell
real
him because
quick.
I want him to know. I want him to find out and
Well,
report back.
before you look the thing up, she moved to Russia and changed her name to Linda Kucherkakov.
so here we go. By the way, I got a preview. I got a preview of next year's Madden cover.
Yeah, word.
I'll
That's the
boycott-
Madden curse. You better watch out.
Seriously.
I'll boycott the game.
We got over here.
Macaroni Jones. Look at him. Look at his face. He's looking at his arms like, how do I throw? Where do I throw? Macaroni Jones. What a bum.
Fans, you bums.
Well,
Oh, yeah. Tua get the tape. Look at this.
And listen, and I'm gonna take a jab at our players because he deserves it this week. Tua had a different name on the back of his jersey.
Turned the ball over. He was turning the ball over. You know what I saw? You know what I saw just while we're on that meme, bro? The first one, I know what happened because I've been in that situation as a clown young athlete. And I'm not calling to a clown, just saying, yo, they didn't call the pass interference on Waddle. So then he got cocky, he got mad, he got impatient, he got silly, and he tried to force the ball into triple coverage with his arm, and it wasn't happening. But you can't do that, bro. You gotta live to fight another down. It's preached by football coaches from Pop Warner all the way up. You got to live to fight another down. They didn't call it. It was BS. At the same time, you can live to fight another day. You could go, have a better pass on third, run it on fourth, or kick the field goal on fourth. It turned into a swing. Not a good decision. But I know what happened. Still not good enough. He's got to clean that up.
From
Gotta clean it
the
up.
one,
the average in the turnover a game.
Yeah, can't be doing that. Just can't.
Yeah.
besides turning the ball over, there were two plays that I saw that Derwin Smythe was open and Tua elected not to throw to him. One resulted in interception, one didn't. I mean, do I care that much? Not really. We won the game, but like when we come down to that, you got to hit the open guy. But
Yeah.
No,
that
you
was
do.
my-
He's got to
that was
learn
my-
that.
That was my only critique.
Hey, Greg,
Hey.
hey, let me tell you something. As a young man, moving forward in life, don't ever be scared to critique the team, bro. Even if it's a win, if there's something that is on your heart to say,
Yeah.
be that guy that says it, because I'm that guy. And let me tell you something.
Mhm.
You're lucky to come at this point where you're going to have some winning to be done. I did with Marino, and guess what? As cool as Marino was, we did a whole bunch of losing, and we got let down a whole lot. Don't be scared to say what's on your mind, man. You'll have these people try to tell you, "Oh, you're not happy we won." If you watch every game, you're gonna have a chance to say, "Hey, man, this isn't cool." Don't be scared. That's in life, bro. Don't be scared to stand on your square. If there's something
by the way,
that ain't right, free Larry.
I'm already.
By the way, I'm celebrating with my PIMP, baby. As always,
you are a PIMP.
A win is a win. We're happy for a win, but at the same time, it's and it's never going to be perfect. However, don't be scared ever, Greg, to say what you want, man. Don't you'll never make everybody happy. I don't care what you say. You'll never please everybody, so don't be scared.
Like the song. What's the song say? You can't please everyone, so just go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Just stand on your square and speak your mind.
That's right.
No matter how you are, if you're too far one way or too far the other way, there's going to be people on both sides that disagree with you. Who cares? Speak your heart and what's on your heart. And that's what matters, man. Exactly. The right people will gravitate towards you. And that's in life in general, not just with the Dolphins. Stand on your square, bud.
Hell yeah.
We're giving G some education today, man. He's gonna
learn today. We won, but it could be better.
It could be much better, and it's not gonna fly when you're ignoring open guys underneath against better teams. You're gonna lose. So he's got to stop that.
That's right.
Between that and the Lorena Bobbitt, you're getting a good Class A education. And you know how the Dolphins every week they do something on their elevator.
Yes, I do. And didn't the Bills troll us?
Yeah.
Bills
win. Yeah, then that's not going to happen. Out of order. The Bills elevator.
Hey, Greg, what's the other one you want me to do?
Raise the banner! Raise the banner! Raise the banner, Bills fans! Raise it high! Raise it proud!
That is very valid, bro. They were so hyped. They were so hyped before the game or so hyped after the game. The team, I think, was so hyped before and after the game that they forgot they had a game in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they completely. What was that movie? What the hell was it with Rob Schneider where he's like the Deuce Bigelow when he's like, I don't want you to blow your whole wad on this tank. Like they blew their whole wad on the Miami Dolphins game and they forgot to show up against Jacksonville. And look what happened to them. I knew it watching. I turned it on and I'm like, these guys, they got too excited about Miami. It was this is a trap game. You can't do that.
I want before we get to the panel, I want to Ali brought this to my attention this morning, right? And I'm gonna share this link. This is I'm not making this up, so you could we brought this share screen.
What do we got? All
right.
I'm very excited.
Okay, can you read it?
Oh, I can see it.
Letting a team stay in London to play 2 weeks in a row and most ridiculous home field advantage bullshit league could come up with. They're trying to petition. They're trying to make it stop where a player, if they play 2 weeks in a row, they can't play. They should go. Like they wanted Jacksonville to go back to the United States and come back to New England, so they could. So they're making a.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's like, all BS aside on that. It's like the NFL, I get it. Jacksonville, they want them to play 2 games overseas because they want to build their brand there, and they've been building their brand. So I get it. Why are you going to make them fly there and fly back? No, you're going to leave them there, and it makes sense. Same time, the other team's got to fly out there.
Well, how about this? How about only 1 international game per team?
Yeah, that I think is fair. Like, I get why they're doing it, but, like, it is kind of not. Like, and Buffalo's always got an excuse. It's too hot on the field. They got to fly to London, and it was, but with us, it's snowing, and that's okay. But if it was us and we lost, we'd be mad. So, I think I don't think it's really fair that, they're going out all the way over there, and they get to stay there, and they got to fly out there.
That's teams. One thing I co-signed the Bills crying about, because if it was us, and I agree with that. Maybe 3 weeks. They were out there a little bit before.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
And then each team has to go back and forth.
They're acclimated to the jet
lag. Okay. Well, how about this? How about the week we week 16, week 17. 2017. Adam Gase's first year. We went to London. We went to Los Angeles. We lost our bye week because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Nobody said
that's-
shit.
I
Last
said
week,
shit.
hold on, and last week and last year, we had to go to two LA games. Then we had to go to Buffalo after that. So don't cry for me, Argentina.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm
Sorry.
just saying. I think a lot of people are mad we lost our bye week, though. I mean, I think the schedule could be more fair.
I mean, they knew that coming in week 1, and now that if they would have won that game, they wouldn't have said jack shit about it. Now that they lost, they should have did that. They should have said that before the year started. They should have thought about that before the game happened.
They're saying anything ain't gonna change it. I agree with what you're saying, Shakes. That's a valid.
Like you said, I'm on my square.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I agree with you 100%. No, 100%. That was a rough year for us. The hurricane was unfortunate circumstances, but the going to London, then going to LA was a little bit out of line. And we took it like a champ. However, and you know what? Missed me with all that. You know what broke my heart, Shakes, more than anything? We got smoked by the Bills. And then they go play. Now, there was an advantage. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
Yeah.
Them Jaguars being out there, Jacksonville being there for about 3 weeks, they're acclimated to
2 weeks.
change and everything else.
It was only 2 weeks.
That is an advantage. And they just played on that field that they played prior to, so they know the conditions and whatever.
Yeah, but still, they should have did something before the game happened.
On that terrible field, the run game is what. But listen, I say all that. After we got smoked by them, to watch them lose to a struggling Jaguars team, like Larry said, they were a playoff team last year. They've been struggling this year. My brother is a Jaguars fan. He lives in Jacksonville, and they've been struggling this year. And to watch them handle the Bills like they did after we got smoked, that shit just broke my heart. Like, you know what I mean? Jesus.
Hey, listen,
but I think it's because they laid everything on the line against us.
They come on, man.
They weren't taking them seriously because they were all about beating us, and just kind of like Tua didn't take the Giants seriously. He didn't need to. Why he threw those picks? They weren't taking them seriously, and it caught up with them. And I don't know when Milano went out, but dude, that is gonna hurt them. Like that's
gonna hurt them
badly.
Jacksonville, Larry, I had the game. I have a dear friend of mine, Melanie. She's a Buffalo Bills fan. So I went over there to her house. We went over there. We watched the game at her. I watched it from the beginning. Jacksonville ultimately was in control the whole game. Buffalo really never was in the game. Truly, to be honest, they had a shot where they looked like they were, but really, like if you watch the entirety of the game, Jacksonville was in control the entirety of the game. There was maybe a 10-minute window where Buffalo looked like they might make some noise, but really, you never really felt like Jacksonville, was in trouble.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Buffalo, but you never felt like Jacksonville could lose. You know what I mean?
I got
Buffalo. Buffalo's leading rusher was Josh Allen with 17, and the second was 16. So they, at the end of the day, they did it to
Jacksonville
themselves.
Stuck to the run game. Jacksonville stuck to the run game.
They did it to themselves.
Yeah, true.
And ETN is on my fantasy team, so I keep close to pay attention to him. Though he's been non-existent the whole year, he hasn't done much of anything. They stuck to that run game, and the guy had a great game.
Listen,
true.
I'm not the Bills. I feel bad for the injuries. Yes, I have no sympathy for them. They can cry, they can the B word and moan all they want. The schedule came back out in May. You had plenty of. You could have planned the trip and whatnot if you wanted to. And the Jaguars been out for 2 weeks. You should have flown out after the game at Miami. You should have packed everything ready to go. I have no sympathy for this team. I never complain about the schedule, even when we go to London. If it was our situation, I'd be like, well, we should have planned better. That's just my case. Bills, I have no sympathy for. You got dominated. You shouldn't. I believe the Bills flew out like midweek. They should have been flying out Monday or Tuesday like the Ravens. I have no sympathy for
that. Is true too.
I have no sympathy for him. And you know what, Bills? You want to say, oh, the Jaguars should have flown back from London to America and then America to London. Do you see teams that play on the West Coast one week, then they have to play on the West Coast next week? You think let's say it's the Patriots, for example. You think the Patriots can fly all the way back to New England to just to fly back out to California? No. And it makes no sense. I believe London's a 3-day trip, too. It could be wrong, like a 2-day trip. So Jacksonville would have to fly back to Jacksonville. It's probably a day or 2-day trip, and then fly all the way back out. That makes no sense. Come on.
No, like I said, I agree with Greg. If you're looking for sympathy, look between R and T in the dictionary.
Now look between syphilis and shit. But I agree with that 100%. But we're not saying that Jacksonville should have flew back, and I don't think that's what the Bills are saying.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
I'm just saying that they were gifted the opportunity to stay out there.
Yeah.
Now, I know McDaniel, I don't know if it was last year, we had a couple of West Coast games. We flew out a week prior to the West Coast game so we can be acclimated. There wasn't any jet lag. Like literally a week before the game, I don't know if it was a bye week. I don't know what happened, but I remember seeing that we left crazy early where normally teams would wait closer to the game. We didn't do that. We left super early so we could be acclimated to that over there.
I believe
and that's what you're going to do. If you have the opportunity, obviously that's what you want to do. But I agree with that. A team shouldn't be gifted 2 games in a row on an international level. And this is where it makes me agree with it. And that counts as one of Buffalo's home games. Now I'm just fair to fair, because if this was Miami,
does it? Because that's terrible. I didn't know that.
I'd be pissed too if this was us. So I'm not one of them guys. Oh, whatever. If that was us, I'd be pissed. So I can't say that. Yeah, I'm happy for them. It's Buffalo and screw Buffalo, whatever. But that counts as one of their home games. So you give us a home game in London against a team that's been out there 2 weeks already, which ultimately is like their being a home game. And I know that their owner has ties in England. He's from over there.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So, that there's some of that involved in it. And it's creepy. So if that happened to Miami, I'd be upset.
Yeah,
so
but want to be fair to the Jacksonville Jaguars again, that would be even less fair for have them to travel, do all that traveling for nothing.
No, Shakes, we're not saying no. I'm not saying when I say I'm not saying Jacksonville should have had to fly home, go back, fly home. Jacksonville should have never had 2 games in a row in London. Yeah. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unless you're counting both of them games as Jacksonville home games.
Do you think if
that's cool? But you don't.
Yeah, I get it. I agree with that.
If you keep them there, Shakes, they shouldn't have had 2 games in a row, Shakes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not 2 games in a row, because like you're saying, who the hell is gonna fly back and forth back? That's crazy. You can't ask that of a team. However, you can't leave them over there for almost 3 weeks and then take a home team from another game, because if that was Miami, I'd be pissed. Like, yo, you take one of our home games away and you're giving it to a team that's been over here 3 weeks already. That's a home field advantage for them, because by then they're acclimated to that time change.
That's true.
To the field conditions, to everything. That's not a true home game.
True.
Which it isn't in a sense anyway.
The NFL were to have done the Jaguars going to buy. The Bills going to buy it next week. The Bills and Jaguars play. Do you think that would have been?
There you go. See, my guy at 22 years old can figure it out.
Yeah, see?
People can't. That shows you what politics. Greg, there's another life lesson. That's politics in life, my guy. Stuff that makes real stupid sense, forget about it. When it comes to politics, forget about it, because that's not what we do.
I'm just gonna say that's all I'm gonna say, but you have a point there.
I get it. Let's put the link out, man. Get some people's thoughts on whatnot. See who's up here. Let's get the show popping. Let's get the panel popping, man. It's L.G Shake and the panel, and it's Lucci, executive member. So let's get that link up.
Hey, by the way, so because this happened to Tailgate, they lost their membership. You got as soon as you get what you call it, you got to reapply for the membership. So because I had to do the same thing for the Finn's Tailgate. I had to renew it. I had to rejoin.
Okay.
So they don't for some reason they don't click you automatically. You got to rejoin it. But we'll be on the look. We'll advertise it.
Yeah. I hear you, bro. I hear you. But Buffalo losing is a good thing regardless, man. And it's good for us. We got to capitalize on it. We're going to have to show the world and show our fans and show ourselves, because it's a show me season. We're going to have to show that we can beat Philly and beat Philly, you know, in their house, to show, look, we've arrived. We've taken that next step. You know, we're not just beating up on lesser teams. We are hanging there and rocking with and beating teams that are, you know, championship caliber type squads, because that's what I want to see. Because at this rate, bro, this season, with the way this offense is at this point historic, unless there's some other catastrophic injury out there, the fact of the matter is this team has got to show me and has got to make a serious run at a championship this year, because it's just historic. It's absolutely historic. You know, the rate that we're running the ball, the rate that we're putting up points, it's absolutely historic. So you can't just punt to next year with that. You got to stick with it, man. You got to. You absolutely got to. And that's my thoughts on that stuff. You know.
I hate it when I lose my cigar cutter.
Well, yeah, it's never fun. It's like losing a bottle opener, too.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
brutal.
did the Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills last year in the U.S.? Is that true?
I didn't even notice that. But they were better last year, I feel like.
Remember, Jacksonville has the better Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah, they do. They do.
Mi hermano, what's going on? Yo, what up?
Lewis and Pam, what's up? Welcome aboard.
Thank
Hey,
you.
what's going on? What's going on? Larry, Shake,
Chilling,
Greg,
man, chilling.
Anthony, Miss Pam, what's going on?
Having fun on this
Hey,
Victory
everybody.
Tuesday.
Hey, by the way, Larry, man, I was on a Twitter space the fucking the rant that Greg went on. I tell you what, it was too you've been kicked off for sure.
See?
We go. I go rated R on Twitter. All right.
Oh my God, rated X. You know, it's a rated X now,
We
so you
keep
could
it-
rate it X now.
Rated R on Twitter. We go.
Our little Greg? Our
Oh,
little Greg
man.
did that? I
Hey.
don't believe that.
Tell
He'd
him,
never
man.
do that.
Greg is just getting, look at him. He's getting crazy now.
Hey.
He's coming of age, and everybody's got to watch out. The ladies
know-
at the customer service counter, the
Yeah.
cashier section, the bars. Everybody's got to clear and watch out for G, man. He's coming through. Look at him.
Hey,
He's dipping Oreos in milk right now. He might look some way, but he's got his backwards hat, his shades. He's starting to really get a cutting edge. Look at this guy.
but
Look at that
you know
Oreo, man.
his nickname is on Twitter, right?
What is
They
it?
call him Tourette's.
Oh man,
He expresses it with
he
storm.
just has no damn filter.
Yeah.
No filter. Just scary as hell, man. I don't even want to mess with that. I don't want to get in Greg's way. Especially when he's got them Oreos. He doesn't even care. He just puts the Oreos right in the camera. He's like, yo, my square from right now for the next couple minutes is going to be just depicting me consuming Oreos. He doesn't care about any of that.
The only
Wild.
thing scarier is a 63-year-old menopausal woman. That's the only thing
That's
scary.
probably scary. You're right. I'm scared of a lot of people on this thing. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Jesus.
What's up, Crypto?
Hey, Crypto.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Chill.
What's happening?
I got to hang out with those two gentlemen, Crypto and Rabbit Dolphin,
I love it.
this weekend.
That was a good picture, man. Show that picture again, Shake. I like that.
That was
picture.
a great
That was a good
picture.
picture of you guys. That
I was
really
so
a dope
happy for
shot.
y'all to do that. So
Yeah,
happy.
that's
That
dope.
is just beautiful.
That's a dope shot, man.
Yeah, you may think that's Tim Hardaway, but no, that's Crypto.
Yep. The two white guys got the whitest legs I've ever seen.
Yeah, wait till you see mine. Shit. Living up
Oh
here.
man.
Mm. Man,
That's
I
what you call
know.
lily
I
white.
had a great time
Yes.
down in the MIA. I had a
MIA
great
is a
time.
Yeah, it was
great
definitely
time.
great.
All of South Florida, I love it down there.
Yeah.
Good food spots,
Mm.
good everything. You know, you got that urban feel. Everything's populated and whatnot. Reminds me of up here, to be honest with you. Except just a lot nicer with nice palm trees, those skinny palm trees. You know what I mean?
Just more tropical
Right.
climate, man. That's all.
Yeah. Yep. That's
Hey,
pretty
what's
much
up, Ali?
it.
To,
And
I got
Howie,
the
good.
chance to eat in a
how's it
Cuban
going, Miss Pam?
restaurant.
How's everybody doing?
Shake Money
Doing
and
good,
Lewis
doing
took
good.
Good, Ollie.
ate at that Cuban restaurant. I was happy to eat
La
at that
Carreta.
Cuban
La
establishment
careta.
Sounds
Agareta.
good.
at the red.
That's where we meet
Yeah.
every morning. That's where we meet when I go with my cousin. That's where we all get together at that Cuban room. We have breakfast, and then we park
Okay.
at the Walmart and leave our cars there. And we all, with everybody, we get in the car with the parking passes.
Dope. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
fantastic restaurant, man. Great.
Sounds
food.
like it.
It is.
Well,
Yeah, pretty nice.
Both times I had the bite
That-
palomilla.
That even the key lime pie and the desserts were great.
It's incredible, bro. And then we park at the Walmart right up the street, and we pile into 2 or 3 vehicles that have the orange parking pass, and then we go to the game there.
Dope.
Mhm.
I love it.
That's the way to do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
That
Well,
sounds
I
beautiful.
I know one. I know. I wanted to touch on something that I heard Larry say, and I think he's spot on. Right before I came up here, he was saying, "See," and I try to tell people, Larry and everybody else, before the season, we know Miami is a 9-8, 10-6 football team. We've seen them do that, but the way you become 12-5, 13-4 is you beat up on all these bottom feeders, right? And that's what we would have problems with. We would lose games like the Giants in years past.
Or the Jaguars, for example.
Yes.
Well,
Or
at
the
least
Jaguars, or
lose one game to them. Yeah.
right. Well, now I think what Larry was trying to say, and I completely agree. Larry, stop me if I'm putting words in your mouth. But this is the point. We're better than these teams now. Larry
Yes.
said it right. I don't care about the Giant win. I'm happy, right? Like I'm ecstatic that we got the win. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care about the win against the Giants. I don't care about a win against the Carolina Panthers. We got to win the Philadelphia Eagles game. 2
Yeah.
weeks after that, we got to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. A couple
Yeah.
weeks after that, when we see Baltimore, we got to go in there and win that game, right? Because
Hell yeah.
That lets us
If-
know we're
if-
Super
if-
Bowl contenders.
if
Can-
you
can-
At
don't,
least on the path.
if you don't, nobody in the national media, right? We always cry as a
Yes.
fan base. We're giving the Buffalo Bills hell, right? But we come up as crybabies too when we always say, well, ESPN, FS1, they don't respect the Dolphins. You know why? Because respect is earned. It's not given. And until
Yes.
the Miami Dolphins can go into a Sunday night game in Philadelphia and win that game, the
Mhm.
national media ain't going to respect us. You see what I'm
Truth.
saying? Like, so
Yeah.
Larry
Let-
is spot on, bro. Like,
That's my
we
point.
Let
gotta
me
start
ask
winning
you a
these
question
games.
though. Let me push back a
Yes.
little bit, Lewis, if you don't mind. I mean, what was it? 2 years ago, we saw the 49ers sweep. Who was it? They sweep the Rams and then end up losing to the Rams.
Yeah,
right?
championship. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Beat them a
the
third
Buccaneers,
time is
the Buccaneers got swept by the Saints and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And
my
I-
point
and I
is,
get all
it
that.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if in the regular season if we beat Buffalo or not. What matters is what you do in the playoffs, in my opinion. But how you
Ali,
get
now
to the
watch.
playoff. But hold on, and I'll let you interject.
Okay.
But how you get to the playoffs is taking care of business with all these bottom feeders, as you put it. People are, I've brought up the word trap game, right? In the past 2 weeks, I've talked about this. Had we won games we should have won against a la the New York Jets last season,
Mhm.
a la against the Patriots, the second game, which we shouldn't have lost, a la the Vikings game, which we should have taken care of business because I really thought we could have and should have beaten them. Then
Yep.
we don't got to worry about the very last game with
cruise
beating
control.
the Jets.
Firepower.
You know what I'm
Agreed.
saying? My point is, had we won those games, actually, if you go back and look at it, I'm willing to argue that we could have maybe even been in the running for the number one in the AFC at that point. So
Now, real
regardless
quick,
of us
Ali.
losing to the Buffalo Bills or whatever big team, that's only what there's like 3 games this season. I said that we could probably maybe lose, but I still think we're going to be competitive. Everybody else we should beat, and we should
Ali,
and
now-
need to beat.
And I agree with Ali, but hold on real quick because you rebutted me. Now let me throw my rebuttal back at you with that. Right?
Please do. Yeah.
I got 2 points. The first one is I think it's crazy when we come out and say, well, the Rams beat the 49ers 2 years ago. They swept them. And then you know why that don't matter? Because, again, before that, the Niners were in the Super Bowl. Before that, the Niners were beating good teams. So we can't come out here and say that because other teams have done. No, Miami hasn't done that yet. Miami hasn't been to those AFC championship games. Miami hasn't been to Super Bowl appearances, so I don't care about that with the 49ers. And now the second point, and I'll hang it up with this. I don't agree with the Big O often, right? But again, I said this point when I heard it, and he's spot on as well. If you go 12-5 this year, and there's a good possibility that that's what Miami ends up on, but I'm going to give you the 5 losses. You lose to Buffalo twice. There's 2. You lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's 3. You lose to the Baltimore Ravens. That's 4. And you lose to, let's say, the Kansas City Chiefs. That's 5. You're 12-5, Ali, but could you argue that it's a fraudulent 12-5? Because
especially
again,
if you don't win in the playoffs because you're on the road. Sorry to interrupt.
Larry,
yeah.
No, Larry, you're spot on. Because again, the Giants, you're not seeing them in the playoffs. The Carolina Panthers, you're not seeing in the playoffs. The teams that you would be losing to are the teams you're seeing in the playoffs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Miami has to start getting over the hump, is all we're saying.
Beating the teams that they eventually face in the playoffs.
I see what you mean, but the other flip side is go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But the Dolphins, we as in our history have a way of winning games. They act like we shouldn't even bother to go get on the field for. You know, we have a history of doing that, but we also have that history of losing to teams that we should never lose to. So I think Ali's point about, you know, we have to win the ones that we should absolutely would hands down be winning. The other games, you know, of course we want to win those games, of course. And I think as long as we're trending up, and I feel like we can win not just the East, but the AFC. I feel like we're that team. Would I like to see a few more things tighten up? Yes, of course. But we're trending that way, right? But I think, Ali, your point is spot on because just because of our own history. And Lewis, as far as the respect thing, I could care less about the media respecting us. Yeah. I could care less. And that, you know, they're going to jump on and off the bandwagon. Those people, to me, are nothing but bandwagoners. They don't have an original thought in their head. Somebody has to say it first, and then they'll all jump on. So I don't care. They can stay on Kansas City and Buffalo if they want.
The only thing is, we won't win the AFC if we don't win some of those games. So,
and you know what?
Right.
And one thing about the Patriots
start getting hot in the middle of the season.
Right.
One thing I noticed about the Patriots when they lose, when they average 4 losses a season, and the 2 things they all had in common was their away games. They lose their away games, 4 away games, and non-conference games. They stepped up for their conference games. I don't care about the Philadelphia game, but I'd rather have the Kansas City game, the conference games, because if we beat, let's say we lose to Philadelphia, no big deal. But if we beat Kansas City and we have the same record, guess what? We jumped them because we have the tiebreaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. That's huge.
That's a very good point, Shake. But again, Miss Pam, you know how we do, Miss Pam. I mean, this will all do it.
Bring it, baby.
Okay. I mean, this will all do. I mean, this will all due respect, Miss Pam. Ain't nobody from that 72 Dolphin team walking through this building. Dan Marino ain't walking into that building, right?
Well, he's in the suite.
Okay, that's fine. You're right. But when
ordering martinis,
but
shaken, not served.
And the only reason I bring that up, right, is because when we talk about the Dolphin history, if that's going to work for us, well, then the Buffalo Bills can look at us and say, well, in their history, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls, so we're Super Bowl contenders. If we're going to talk about history, then we can talk about New England maybe not losing another game because they've won 6 Super Bowls in the last 20 years. You see what I'm saying? Like, bro, enough of the history. I don't care what we did in the past. That don't mean nothing to me.
Hey, let me interject.
I get it.
Let me interject real quick, Pam, just real quick. because I've been saying on numerous accounts on this platform, on the Dolphins Den, the one difference I see in the Dolphins as I've been watching them my whole life is that I know there's a change in guard because we're beating teams we're supposed to beat. Where, like Pam said, normally we'd struggle with those teams. Now we're walking the dog on teams we're supposed to beat like we're supposed to.
Mhm.
Like, as an example,
Agreed.
New England, when they were on their when a trash team played New England, you could lock them in. If you play 3 lines in a football pool, you put New England on every line. We're that team now. Cool story, bro. However,
Yeah, that's a fact. Hey,
No,
Shake,
no,
real quick. Anthony, real quick. Hey, Shake, Doc wants to see. Doc don't know. He said he's watching on Twitter, but he doesn't know, I guess. the
I'll send
YouTube
him the link. I'll send him
Yeah,
the
you
link.
got it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
My
he-
fault,
he
Anthony.
can go
Continue,
YouTube.
bro. My fault. My
you're
fault.
cool. You're cool, brother. Anything to get more attention to the channel. I'm with that.
Mhm.
I just want to say this
Right,
real quick.
right.
This is my problem with and like you said, Lou, when we're not beating teams, we're not seeing any of these teams in the playoffs. And this is like when people say, "Oh, you're not happy with the win. You're not happy." No, I'm not happy with the win, and I'm not happy with. Listen, we get a chance, and this is my biggest problem with the game against Buffalo. We play Buffalo in Buffalo with 75-degree weather, not a cloud in the sky, gorgeous football weather, no snow.
Yeah, it was
no
favorable to
nothing.
us. Yeah,
This
it
is
actually
a
was
big,
favored us as
huge
far as our type of team.
opportunity.
Yeah,
It's that's. I mean, I know it's loud. My guy Horace, shout out to Horace if he's watching. He was there. Tori was there. Cool. Then they said it was really loud. It was deafening. You're gonna play in, opposing stadiums where it's loud. That's gonna be a given. And I don't care if you play college football; they have more fans than NFL fans. You've been used
Exactly.
Yes.
to. You
Yeah, they
take
college
away,
fans
just like they don't come to the Heat.
crazy.
And really, it's more of an advantage to us. Sorry, bro. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I'd rather play them in Miami in September, or excuse me, play Buffalo in September and play Buffalo in Miami in December than I would vice versa. Damn that heat. Because we don't have the snow. Now it don't take much gas. Anybody who played football, I used to play on the streets as a kid. I played, up to high school. When it's really cold, that hurts your hands to catch. It takes away the pass game. There's certain things that, when you're playing in that kind of weather, whether you throw, pass, run, this, that, everything goes. It doesn't negate any part of your game plan. We had that opportunity, and we got smoked.
Yep.
Smoked. That's what pisses me off about the loss to Buffalo, more than anything. The coaching is something else, but we had an opportunity, and I know that the players that got to go up there and play in those conditions normally in December and January, where we'll be playing in the playoffs, if, like Lou said, we don't win against these good teams, that's where we'll be playing. It's like, come on, man. You can't win in great conditions, but you're going to go up there and win in bad conditions? I mean, it's like, come on, man. That's what upsets me about it.
We should have. We should have.
It was a missed opportunity. And anybody who's talking about it is, I mean, come on, man. What are you thinking about? Because like Lou said, if we don't beat the Philadelphias, the Kansas City, the teams that we're going to see in the playoffs or ultimately the Super Bowl, because obviously there's only AFC team in the playoffs, we're going to be playing Kansas City. Guess what? Is freezing in January, and Buffalo is freezing. All these other teams that are Super Bowl contenders we're going to be playing in the freezing cold.
That's why,
some of in this great offense you guys think we have, or not think, I take that back. The great offense that we have, some of that will be negated in sub-zero
when
conditions.
the weather is inclement. Yeah, the more
And
inclement.
guess
We
what?
got to try to get that home field as
Hey,
best
you know
we
what
can.
works in those kind of when you
Yeah.
have pass, when there's wind? Guess what kind of game works? The run game. guess where we go away from and that we don't stick to in every effing game? The run game. We go away from it. What do you think?
100%.
That's
Yep.
what I don't get about these people, man. You don't get that? We
Yeah.
don't see the run game.
Yeah. And Anthony,
We had
let me ask
100
you,
yards,
do you
and I'll say this till my eyes are blue. We had 100 yards in the first quarter against Buffalo in a blizzard last year.
Yeah.
And then we abandoned the run.
Stopped
And
running.
we lost the game. And drop passes had a lot to do with it. So
Yeah.
what do you want to do? You think this guy's a genius? But you know, we need to be in Miami where we have all our options available because, you know,
I think he is a genius, but sometimes I think he outsmarts himself. Like he gets, he overthinks it, and sometimes he just needs somebody to go, stop it.
he
I can
doesn't
see
have
from
that
my
guy,
couch.
Cam.
You need
He
to keep
doesn't have
running.
that guy.
I call him up.
I think
Are you saying he's
I
the
don't
man
think-
genius like Eric Van Genie?
I don't think that he's overthinking things. And listen, this is not going to be a popular opinion, but Larry, I am the fire starter, I've been told, of the community. So let me start a little fire right now, right? Like, I think McDaniel, right? And whether it's good or bad, we can debate that. This is just my opinion. Being at the game, and again, shout out to Shake, shout out to Crypto, shout out to Ali. It was great hanging out with those guys. But in the building Sunday, right? Right there in front of me, we're at the first interception by Tua. Even though it was a horrible kind of, I think Tua didn't even. I think Tua predetermined. Let me just say that he was where he was going to go. No matter what the coverage dictated, I think he was going there with the ball, no matter what. But I don't blame Tua. And in years past, I would have. But I don't blame Tua. Mike McDaniel, it feels to me, he's all about the Pat status, right? Because Mike McDaniel, it can be great to win games. And I think he does want to win games. But again, 2 years of Tua, first 2 years, everybody was saying, man, this 5th overall pick is a bust, right? 3rd year, okay, gets a little bit better. With McDaniel last year, right? What's good for McDaniel's resume? To be the guy that has fixed Tua, right? Because if Tua wins an MVP, obviously Tua gets that credit. If Tua takes us to the AFC Championship game, he gets the credit. But how in McDaniel, it just feels like, again, Sunday, the Giants showed no ability to stop the run, right? They showed no ability all game long. You get down at the 2-yard line and you're trying to throw a pass. When McDaniel himself, when McDaniel himself came out and told everybody before the season started, it was his fault last year. He didn't blame.
Hey, hold on. I just wanted to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, right here, former Houston Oiler, Dr. Reginald Brown. What's going on, Doc?
Hey, Dr. Reginald.
Let me tell you something right now, Shake. Don't you ever cut me off to introduce Doc Brown. I'm telling you right now.
It's all right, Jake. You don't have to do it. I'll do it for you.
You can cut him off to introduce me, but not Doctor.
You saying that's a serial crime?
Listen. I will gladly shut up. Again, that is my man. $100,000. Me and this man are down like 4 flat tires. My man, Doc. What's good, Doc?
Hey, by the way, Doc, I'm gonna say it for you, Lewis. You a hoe for that.
You already know.
Hey, come on, man.
Already know.
Oh man. Yes.
Lewis,
I love that dude. That's
real
why I
quick.
love that dude.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Lewis. I just want to say real quick your comment about padding stats. I'm going to agree partially, but not totally to what you're saying. I don't think he necessarily pads stats. I think he overutilizes them, almost kind of like like for example, in the movie Moneyball, they're looking at stats on how many more runs they needed, and they brought in players that provided those types of consistency and whatnot. I almost think that's how he wins games. He feels like if I average, 5 yards, 6 yards a carry, compared to what we've done previously against this team, the probabilities are higher. I think he's playing a game of probabilities, and I think it's kind of evident in his style of his plays. If you look on what they're averaging regarding rushing attempts versus the production, it's all about production. The more you produce, the higher probability that they have to win, and that's kind of his style, and that's how I see it. But I understand what you mean by padding.
But it's only with Tua, Ali, right? Because A-Chain is putting up historical numbers, but he'll go away from A-Chain, right? Like last year when we were 8-3, we go into San Francisco, they're dropping their linebackers, right? But remember at that time, 8-3, who's in the MVP conversation? It's Tua Tagovailoa, right? So let me pad on to those stats to make Tua look good.
No,
who's gonna get the credit? Doc, you don't have to like it if you don't want to.
No.
Doc easily couldn't be accused for that, Doc.
Let me say this: how can you accuse him of that when A-Chain has 7 touchdowns and Mostert has 8 touchdowns?
Yeah,
that's because they more efficient than our running backs.
But the fact is that
when he's getting that, there's no need to go away from him on the goal line.
Here's the other part of it. In the very first game, do you know how many offensive rushing attempts versus passing attempts there were?
How many?
It was 50-50. That was the percentage difference. They had the same amount of snaps for passing and running.
Can I tell you though?
Where in the goal line?
I'm just saying, if you're winning, what does it really matter how you're winning and getting it done? Just get it done. That's basically how I'm seeing it. But
if I can point out something to you, Lewis, why that doesn't actually come out in the wash the way you're saying it doesn't actually look like that. What I think has made us dangerous when you look at the games, for example, the 70 burger, we went to the tight end. We had Ingold getting the ball. We had, Barrios getting the ball. We had, everybody except for the water boy, and he might have even been in there one time, getting the ball. So spreading it around. So why did we not see Smythe, getting the ball? Why didn't they go to him in the end zone? Why didn't we?
Because Smythe is not a target, whether your guys like it or not. He's not part of the offense. But
he was on multiple times when we got a ton of points. You don't get away from what works. You don't get away from what works.
Miss Pam, in that 70 burger you're talking about, I think Durham Smythe had 2 catches. See, the fact of the matter is, we can just say what we want to say, but it's not factual. The facts are right.
But 2 catches versus why is he not in there? Why is Ingold not getting the catches?
Because Durham Smythe and Alex Ingold ain't getting the ball over the guys that we have, right?
I'm not saying a lot. I'm just saying the thing that makes us.
Miss Pam, here's a stat for you right here. Right? You're complaining about Durham Smythe and Alex Ingold. No. You have 2 legitimate wide receivers, number ones, right? The stat was thrown to me today because I was thinking the same thing. Tua spreading the ball around. This is a great offense. Oh, and again, it is. But these numbers I'm about to give you are staggering. Tyreek Hill has 48 targets on the season. Jalen Waddle has 26. Don't tell me they're spreading the ball around.
And he missed the game. And he missed the game.
Doc, he's almost
regardless of him missing the game, the average per game is what mattered, is what brought it up to that.
So what is the
even if Waddle would have been there, the average per game difference would still be the same.
No, what's the average per game? What's the average per game? You expect
the average per game is like over 10 to Waddle to like 5 or 6.
No, you expect Waddle to be second tier to Tyreek. So if it looks based on what I heard, it was 8-6 based on the numbers you just told me, or 8-5. So that isn't some discrepancy. But here's the other thing, Lewis, and you and I talked about this last night. We've thrown the ball 168 times. We've run it 132 times. That's only 33 times more. You split that over 5 games. We've only run it 5 more times a game than we've thrown it.
And by the way, Durham Smythe only has 11 receptions for 123 yards. So
Well,
Yeah,
and
Mike
that's
McDaniel's never
actually
said.
great stat, right? And so you're taking what I'm saying and you're missing how I mean it. It's not that Durham Smythe or Ingold are going to get a ton of touches. I'm not saying that. What makes us dangerous is that we could go to them, and in order to make that dangerous, we have to go to them every once in a while. You have to throw in Barrios more often. You have to change it up. That's what makes it so dangerous. Of course, you're going to go to Tyreek more than anybody else. The man is incredible and getting better every time he
uh,
touches the field. The guy's getting better.
agreed. But you're almost. It feels like, and again, it just feels like the offense is too Tyreek centric.
yeah,
You
Barrios only
can't
has
have-
15 receptions.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It looks like they're getting the ball, but when you break it all down, you can't tell me that 48 targets, right, for Tyreek Hill and only 26 for Jalen Waddle. That's not good. It's not.
Well,
I'm sorry.
the
It's
point-
not.
The
Have you
point
ever considered
isn't-
maybe the other players are not getting open enough as where your two top receivers are? Have you ever
Well, I don't
considered
know.
that?
I watch Ingold. Ingol's running great routes.
Well, yeah, the
Getting
coach is
great
known for
balls.
scheming
playing-
people open,
If I'm
regardless.
playing the game, I'm going to throw it to the open person, and if that's Tyreek all game long, I'm going to do
All
it.
day.
Well,
And
Tyreek
that's-
was open
that
on
is
that
true.
on that screen he took for 70
He
plus
wasn't.
yards. Any other wide receiver could have gotten that pass.
And I agree.
Okay,
and
if
I
any
agree
other receiver could have gotten
1000%.
that pass, then any other receiver would be Tyreek Hill. Why the hell did we get Tyreek Hill then?
No, I'm just saying, to the point. I agree. I'm just saying, but you acting like Tyreek is the only one getting open.
No, yeah, exactly. That's
Sometimes
the
he's
point.
not
Ali,
open
I
and he
agree.
forces it.
Sometimes,
Right.
exactly.
That's a fact. He
That is
does
what the
that.
problem is there.
He's got to
Larry.
stop that
Exactly.
because if he's triple covered, two other people are open. So that's just a
Ali,
valid
and I-
criticism. That is. I mean, come on. It's a
1000%.
valid criticism.
1000%. And Ali, listen, I would go to Tyreek Hill too. Absolutely. I think he should be the number one target. But the fact of the matter is, to your point, Ali, or to your question, right? When you throw on that all 22 tape, no, Jalen Waddle's open. We're just
Okay, well,
gonna throw the ball.
what I'm saying is outside of the top two receivers, because they're the best receivers, number one and number two, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek, right? If they're open consistently all the time, then obviously those two guys should have the most targets in the team, right?
I agree.
If you look at Barrios and River Craycraft before he got injured, right?
Yes.
Those guys, they're slightly open, but they don't have the speed or the way they get open like Jalen Waddle does or Tyreek when they're open.
I do agree with Lewis that we should be designing plays for Waddle. All our plays start with
Right,
Tyreek.
study.
So we
Waddle
should
can
be
get designed.
I see that point.
Right.
Now that point I can understand. I get it.
Yes,
I get what
and
you're
then but I give Lewis pushback to this. Mike McDaniel's didn't say that we would become a running team. He said we would run the ball more, and it is a fact based on our.
The
pass
problem
to
with
run.
that statement,
Let me
he
just
should have
finish.
said
Let me
run the
just
ball
finish.
more efficiently.
We're running it more efficiently, and we're running it more.
And that's what we mean.
And
The
we're
problem
running
is
it
we could
more.
have still had the same touchdowns even with less carries.
Listen, we are running it more percentage-wise. We've thrown it 160 times. We've run it 130. It was not like that last year. It was more. We were throwing it much more times per game than run. Now we're only throwing it 5 more times. So he's increased the running. He's increased the running and the production when we run it. On top of that,
Absolutely. I agree with that, Doc.
We're increasing the production. And how much of that game was that Denver game skewed the numbers so much in that direction? Well, it looks like we're making a change fundamentally when really it was that one game that dictated the skew in the numbers where it's going to happen.
That one game
I warned y'all of
everything.
this was going to happen.
I
told y'all about the one game skew that is going to overthrow the numbers so far out of sync what it really was. And it's going to look like he making a fundamental change.
It's
when
skewed
really
all of the
A-Chain
games, though.
scoring touchdowns was made a difference. It wasn't his volume. He was doing it on less carries than the actual running backs last year.
But when you look at the carries over the
That's
course
true.
of the year, it isn't skewed. It's 168 to 135 running
But
the
yes, that's
pass.
because we're running the ball after the fact, after we got big leads.
I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Well,
If we
well,
doing
no,
it and it's
no, Doc,
working, I
Doc,
mean, I
Doc,
don't.
I
We're
agree.
running more
The
efficiently.
numbers are skewed
That's the
both
difference.
ways. The numbers are
I
skewed
get
both
you.
ways because when
I
we
get
got that 70-point lead, we didn't stop throwing the football.
We did it
Well,
on a
typically,
percentage basis.
Typically, guys,
You're right.
winning football will feature a higher percentage of
Yes.
hey, good evening, a higher
Good
degree of
evening.
runs
KP.
than against passes. So, in essence, we are putting forward more consistently a winning brand of football, which naturally would incorporate a higher percentage of runs versus the passes. And yes, absolutely, the productivity from those runs, whether they be a little bit more or right on par, the productivity of those runs has certainly been improved this season. That's just a fact. And so I think with the eye
That's
test,
the
you will
offensive
get that.
line. And
And
right.
yeah, exactly. The eye
And of
test will
course,
tell us that as well as the
yeah.
numbers. So that's all I
Well,
got. Yeah.
KP, but the problem though is right, and I agree with Doc, but that's why I always say numbers can be skewed to whatever side of the argument you're on, right?
Always,
Just
yeah.
what your eye test is telling you. And again,
Right.
being in the stadium on Sunday, Anthony, before he got off the panel, what did he say? Last year in Buffalo, you had over 100 yards rushing in the first quarter, right? In the game, the whole game. In the fourth quarter, and Color always makes this point, which I agree with. In the fourth quarter, when the snow started, McDaniel decided to leave the run, right? When it wasn't, there was no call for it. And on Sunday, take Tua's first interception. It's second down, right? Remember, the first down, whether you want to believe it was pass interference or not, I'm not here to debate you on that. But it was a first down pass. On second down, here comes the interception. And the game specifically, and this is for Doc and everybody on the panel, did the Giants show any ability to stop the run?
None. They had no resistance.
So why are we not running it? That's what I'm saying. Like Mike McDaniel can sit here until he's blue in the face and tell me that he wants to be more balanced and he didn't blame the running backs. It was on him. Well, you're showing us the same thing. You're not consistent with the run. If the run is working, that's why I came up with it seems like he's padding stats for Tua. And I don't need Tua to throw
should
for
have had another 2
5,500
touchdowns.
yards. I need to be the number. If the run is working, run the ball 35 times. Why? Why am I going to throw it?
One thing I will give him is I was going crazy on Facebook the other day saying, "Yo, run the ball," but he did. I give him credit. He did run the ball there when we needed a drive to sustain. He ran it every single play, and we got in the end zone. So I think he might be learning that. I also am not sure that he's necessarily padding the stats as much as he thinks he's the smartest dude in the room all the time. And he is a lot of times, but he outsmarts himself with the play calls sometimes. I want to see more of what I saw Sunday, which at one point he did recognize, I think. He recognized that Tua was forcing it a little bit, was a little bit frustrated, was believing in his arm a little too much. He slowed it down, he ran it, and he ran it the whole entire drive, and we went all the way down and scored. I hope that shows him that in certain situations, we can run the ball down people's throats because this O-line is balling and mauling, and these running backs are hitting holes, and we can keep quarterbacks like Hurts off and Mahomes off the field by doing that on top of it. I'm hoping he learns because I do think sometimes he tries to outsmart himself with play calls. I don't know if it's necessarily to pad stats, but I know that he tries to outsmart himself, and he's trying to get too cute with it, and I hope he loses that tendency because he doesn't need to get too cute with it. His offense does the work for him because he already designed it very nicely.
Exactly. He did the homework, right? He did all the work. Let your homework work for you. Don't get too cute. I almost think it's that he overthinks it, like, okay, what are they going to expect? What can I make happen?
Well,
and he doesn't have to because what we're doing works.
Listen,
thank you, Larry K. and Pamela. Both of you, I totally agree with you. The offensive line play, especially in the run game, has been one of the more outstanding features of the season thus far to our success. But I think what no one has commented on yet, and is the degree to that the coaching is a chess match between him and his opponent. If you go back and watch that game, right, real time, you're going to see Wink Martindale, right, the Giants defense coordinator, make decisions on how he's going to frame his defense against Tua, and it changes throughout the first half. By the end of that first half, his DBs are coming up, playing more man, and challenging us to beat him over the top deep. To Tua's credit, that's exactly what he did when he hit Tyreek in the third quarter on that bomb, right? He showed that more aggressive style that Wink Martindale had shifted into could not contain a Tua at that point. And so I bring that up only to suggest that when you consider McDaniel's approach as an offensive play caller, yes, he is constantly in this coaching chess match against that defensive coordinator, perhaps to a fault somewhat. And I've said this last year as well. At some point, an offense doesn't just respond to the defense, but has to, go ahead and impart its will on that defense. We're going to do what we want to do when we want to do it, rather than just be reactive, responding to the fronts you put up, the defensive approach that you've laid out against us. And I think that's where McDaniel sometimes, he needs to be more determinative with, his offense approach in a sense.
I'm gonna
to that point, and to that too. I'm glad you said that, which means Tua had the ability and the free reign to audible. Hence, if he knew on the goal line situation that it was bad, and when A-Chain was cooking in that game to throw a pass and force it, it's not only on McDaniel. That's only on Tua too, because McDaniel gave him authority to change out of a bad call. He did it in the second half.
I don't think he had the authority on that one, by the way. I think he just called blame
on that.
I think he just called that Tyreek play. Ali, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was thinking
but who was to say that McDaniel wasn't the one that called the running on that and he changed out of it?
He was. No, he was. That McDaniel said in the presser that Tua called his own play to Tyreek, and he was not going to call timeout only because he saw the whole
he called
team.
it.
No, but we know he called it.
Him the ability to make a play call.
No. But listen, it's different because it wasn't an audible. It was straight up. I don't like the call McDaniel gave me in my headset. I'm calling my own play, and McDaniel
that's
said,
still technically an audible.
No,
you're audibling. You're changing from what the coach gave you.
I get
by
it,
definition, it's still an audible.
No, but that's fine. But it's not the authority to change the play. That's a different situation. He didn't have the authority.
It is. You're doing your own thing. You're going rogue. No matter how you shape it up, you're still going rogue. You're changing the play that was originally called.
Going rogue and having the authority to call audible are two totally. They're oxymorons. Going rogue is you don't have.
No, it's not. Calling audible meaning you're changing the play from what is originally designed to do.
You're saying he has the authority. I'm saying he didn't even have the authority.
He does.
He didn't have the authority on that specific play. It don't even have to be an argument.
Authority on any play.
It doesn't even have to be an argument. It's just straight up what happened. So I don't know what the argument is. Flat out.
The problem is if he has the ability to change a play, he can change it at any time he wants.
I get it. And he didn't have the ability on the Tyreek play. He didn't have the authority to do it. McDaniel said the only reason he didn't call a timeout and stop it was because the offense looked like they were so convicted in lining up that they trusted Tua, so he just let it play out and it happened to work out. Now maybe that leads to him having more ability to actually audible and more authority to actually audible like Brady and Montana down the road.
I don't buy it.
But
this
he
is
didn't have it
offense. He has full autonomy of the offense. He's smart enough to know the offense.
How do we know that?
How do we know that? And it doesn't seem like he did.
What do you mean? How do we know that? Because he freaking knows the offense. Since when does he give?
Since when is we full authority? That doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
It does mean it.
Let me know.
He has control of the offense.
What I wanted to comment on real quick, just one last thing.
Well, we're making things more complicated than what it is.
Well,
the man's ability to call plays, he's not a rookie.
I tell you this, Crypto, Warren Moon did not have authority.
A lot of them don't,
bro. When I was with the Oilers, I can tell you that for a fact. And
that's fine. That's Warren Moon.
But I'm just telling you that he didn't. Warren Moon, a Hall of Famer, didn't have authority to change a play.
Yeah. Right. We don't know that he has authority, and it doesn't seem like he did yet.
Okay, but when he's showing and when he's still changing plays, to me tell me he has authority to do it.
Well,
You acting like he never changed the play before.
He might be taking that authority now.
He feels comfortable doing
You acting like he never changed the play before. By definition, that means he's having authority.
Yeah, but some guys also have.
Well, I mean,
audibles.
Yeah, but technically, this is the first
situations.
time. Well, technically, this is the first time we ever heard of Tua changing a play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Reggie,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question then too. You play ball. You play ball. Isn't it true that there are certain situational audibles and a certain set of them that you get sometimes? Some quarterbacks have full autonomy.
This is not
but
the
some
first
get
time you've
certain
ever changed the play.
situations.
When
was
changed
the
play
first
since he
time?
came in the
That's a
league.
fact, Larry.
When?
Hold
Right.
on. That's a fact, Larry. And I played in offenses where that's exactly what it is.
Right.
There's specific cases where if we call this and you see this,
Right.
Yes.
you can
Right.
check
You
to
change
this.
that,
That does not
Yes.
mean that you
That's
have full
game
autonomy.
planning.
There,
That's
wherever,
game
whatever it's
planning.
called,
That's
you can
prep.
say,
That's game prep.
I'm
That
gonna call
still
this
mean you
instead.
changed the
Right.
play,
Thank you,
which is
Triple.
by
Thank you.
definition
Thank you, Triple.
you audibled it.
Yeah, but
I just want to
that's
make
not the
one
same as
last
full
comment.
I guess we're gonna have to agree to disagree
Well, 'cause
because
we're on two
fundamentally, by
different
definition,
wavelengths. We're on two
any
different-
audible is changing the play.
Okay, but it doesn't mean you have the authority. It doesn't mean you have the autonomy to do it.
You're right. He hasn't been anointed,
Okay,
but he
what if
felt
you do it?
comfortable doing it.
If you do it and you check out of it, you check it to a running play, the turnover doesn't happen. That's the point.
He doesn't have the. We're not saying we don't think he has that authority. He just did it
Okay,
on the
you
one
can
play
say he
because he was
doesn't.
tired of it.
You can say he doesn't when the man has full control of this offense.
He doesn't.
He's not just
I bet
learning
you
this
he doesn't.
offense.
I bet you he does not have full autonomy on that field, and McDaniel
I say he has
lets him
full
free roam.
autonomy and full control of the offense is totally
Nah.
two different things.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
What
Hey Larry, I got the target.
It is
targets per game number for you. I don't know if anyone's already calculated it, but Tyreek's target per game is 9.8.
Okay.
Versus Waddle's is I believe it was. Well, he's got 26 divided by 4 games. His is 6.5. So it's a 3.3 target per game difference, and I don't think that's egregious. So to Lewis's point earlier, I don't believe that's. I mean, I'm okay with Tyreek getting 3.
What is the difference between top 10 defenses and the targets per game versus because what's his name on the Spaces brought up a good point.
I wanted to bring up,
Hold on,
Larry,
let
I was
Triple
watching
finish.
the All-22. And
Between top 10 defenses, what is the difference in targets per game?
I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but we had Devon Achane covering kickoffs last game, and I'm not quite sure why. I get he's a rookie, but given his value in other facets of the game, I don't believe he should be running down on kickoff, especially when I don't see guys like Cam Smith running down on kickoff. Actually, that's a lie. He does run down on kickoff. I got to think of another name. But I don't believe Achane should be running down on kickoffs.
Hell no.
Me either.
And
Those
and
days
he's
are
not
over.
running
kinda weird.
outside
That is
either.
kinda
He's
weird.
running down the middle.
Doesn't make sense.
That's where the big boys are. So
Should not
I'd like
happen.
to see that.
Should not happen.
Was that this week?
Yep, the Giants
Yeah,
game.
this week.
The Giants game. He was running down on kickoff. I'm looking at it right now.
Who
I
the
didn't like to
hell
see
made that decision?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay, we bringing up the difference in targets per game. What's the difference in targets per game in top 10 defenses?
What?
Against top, he wants
The
to know
targets
what the
per game between the number 1 and number 2
So what was the
receivers and
difference
3
in Buffalo?
receivers and target per game and top 10 defenses.
So what was it against Buffalo, Triple? Do you have that stat?
I'll pull that up.
While he's pulling it up, I just want to make this.
Yeah,
quick
let
point
Ollie
real quick.
go because
Over the last 17 games,
his word in.
that's a large enough sample size.
In regards to the padding stat thing with or McDaniel and outsmarting himself, like Larry had said before, I do agree that sometimes I think that he plays a game within a game, and what I mean by that is when people during the week say he's not going to be able to do something, like for example, before the Broncos game, I forget what reporter or beat writer it was asked him the question about Patrick Surtain and how Patrick Surtain's going to cover one side of the field and lock it down. Well, to me, that's a challenge to McDaniel. And McDaniel's like, you know what? I'm going to prove I can do it. I don't care if I shouldn't do it.
He certainly has a little bit of that Napoleon complex in that sense.
I think so.
And I think you're right.
That game within the game.
Yeah, blame
think
on
so,
everything
bro.
on
Good point.
McDaniel
Good
when you're
point.
acting like
Good
he got a
point.
rookie quarterback.
And I would argue that in the red zone, we've been run heavy in the red zone this year. I mean, those guys are scoring 3-yard touchdowns, 2-yard touchdowns.
Yeah,
5-yard.
Mostert has about 3 of them. Right?
Yeah, so I mean, I get that we maybe should have threw it, but I think that sometimes as coaches, you put when you do a game plan, you say here are 2 passes we like within the 3, here 2 runs we like, and in this game he chose 2 runs. In this same game, we had already chosen 2 runs, and then we chose to throw it. I mean, to say that it's somehow some conspiracy. Yes, when shit don't work, you say we should have.
Okay, when the coach called a play, it's still up to the players to execute the play. He's not telling them in his ear to throw it in that direction, irregardless.
Right. No,
the players still have to make the decision to go where they want to go with the football.
Right. He made a bad
Even
play.
if you think McDaniel should have freaking called a run, if he calls a pass and it's not McDaniel's fault after the ball is already snapped.
Right.
Let me ask you: you getting traffic today? Did somebody yell at you, bro?
I don't know what
That's crypto for you, man. That's the crypto we know and love.
Hey, came to Miami and got some of that road rage. Took some of that road rage back with
Crypto
him to
just got off
Baltimore.
that South Florida traffic. He's like, I don't care. He called the play, and you all gonna listen.
That's my dog, Crypto.
I was gonna say
That's my dog too. That's my dog too.
And listen, KP's just mad because Crypto wiped the floor with him in fantasy. That's
Ah, man, come on, man. Let's not bring that up.
I won all 3 of my leagues
Right.
this
Got
week.
out the snide,
Just saying.
KP.
You must have had
Yes, you did,
H-Fan,
now.
man.
Hey, I recovered this week though. Back on winning.
Hey, did you win this week, Crypto? Did you get another
Yeah, I
dub,
did.
Crypto?
I got another one.
I told you, man.
KP, I won because my kicker scored 25 points, by the way.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Cairo Santos. Yeah, man.
Ridiculous.
I'll tell you what put me over the top is the Dolphins defense. Just saying.
Wow.
All those
yeah.
sacks. Oh yeah.
That was
They
good. That was a
were
good play.
That's a great fantasy tip going forward for anyone playing the New York Giants. Pick that defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking
Hey,
of
Larry,
which,
can I,
AVG should be locked up sometime, man. To Greg's point, I know it's gonna be hard to do, but
Forget Christian Wilkins.
yeah.
Oh no.
Hey, Crypto.
I'm with
I
you
got,
on
I
AVG,
got
but
the
don't
target
mess
numbers
with my
for you for the
Wilkins,
Buffalo
man.
game.
Trade him, Greg. Trade him.
I think
What
Wilkins
was-
is
what
gone,
was that?
man.
I got the target
Trade 'em.
numbers for Crypto. I got the target.
Oh
numbers
yeah,
for
all right. Tell us
Crypto
the
from
numbers.
He said for the last 17.
Is this
top
over the
whatever
last?
defenses?
The last?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to.
Last 17 games?
I'm going to give you Buffalo. I'm going to give
Okay.
you Buffalo this year, where we lost 48-20. We threw the ball 34 times, 5 of which went to Tyreek Hill. I don't think that's enough. 5 of which went to Jalen Waddle. So they had the same amount in Buffalo. 6 of which went to Braxton Berrios. 5 of which went to our 2 leading running backs, Mostert, and then another 5 to A-Chain. We had 4 to Durham Smythe, 1 to Ingold, 1 to Robbie Chosen, and 2 to Cedric Wilson.
I think that's
pretty
very
even.
interesting.
That's even distribution right there.
Yeah, because I think
Damn.
he was going through his progressions. What I said about that game, you guys could disagree. I'll give you the floor, but I thought he was going through his progressions, but they were rushing the passer so well that by the time he settled on his second and third, he couldn't get the ball off. So it shows that he was going through progressions. He was hitting guys almost evenly. He was trying, but we just couldn't get any traction.
I wanted to read off some rushing stats as well, because I know you guys were talking about if we're balanced enough and if
Triple
McDaniel's
S.
stat
Triple
padding.
S. Before you do
What's
that,
up?
let me just say something though.
Go ahead, go ahead.
The whole reason this conversation has come up was because of what happened earlier in the Twitter Spaces. We did have a guy there who was making the assertion that against top teams, the distribution of passes gets skewed to Tyreek Hill.
Gotcha.
That was an argument that happened earlier, right?
Gotcha.
And that's what's produced this discussion
he used
and all of these
but
stats.
KP, he used
Thank you, KP.
the
but hold on,
larger
hold on,
sample
Crypto.
size. He took
But
it
hold
from
on. Yeah,
early
he did.
last
He did
year.
use a larger. That's correct. He went back in the last year and made that assertion with the stats. You know, but nobody double checked the stats, and what Triple S just showed us goes against that argument altogether.
just one
That
game,
speaks
though.
totally
Triple S
against. Yeah,
used
but
one
it is just one
game.
game.
For that
I'm
game,
not,
it does, yes.
I'm not
Good
arguing
point.
against
Thank
that,
you,
Crypto.
KP.
But we don't
Absolutely.
have the
I just wanted to kind of
games
make
in
the
front of us.
contextual what's
Thank
happening
you.
here with this discussion. Okay, that's
Thank
all.
you. Thank you.
Now, let me
Go ahead,
read
Triple
off
S.
some. Let me read off
Yeah.
some rushing stats.
Hello?
You got it, Triple S. You got it, bro.
Yeah, it's you, bro.
Yeah.
I think we lost him.
Did we lose Triple S?
No, it don't necessarily go against him. It'll only go against him if he gave us a 17-game sample size.
Right.
Correct.
And-
Well,
You're
but
right, Crypto.
that
Yeah.
was a different
you're right.
team as well. Let's look at the improvement on the offensive line. Let's look at the great play by H.
Well, you
Right.
can't use
So
you can't use
you
offensive line
can't.
improvement as an example because Eichenberg started that game.
Oh
Can y'all
God,
It
hear
went
me?
against the
Eichenberg.
grain
Yes,
with
I
Eichenberg.
can. Yes, I can, and
I never wanna
I'll
It
see
tell
was
that.
no
you
improvement with
why.
Eichenberg on
That
the line in that Buffalo game.
Can y'all hear me?
So if
Yeah,
I
we can hear you.
if I can just
All right. I'll go
say
after
that
Pam.
you can't use the ones from last season because it's not the same. That the offensive line play has improved so much this year. We only
Facts.
have one sample size with a top 10 defense. So we can't create something that isn't there. But to go back to last season's stats and try and say when we played against a top defense or not, you can't do that because everything about that
Why
offensive
can't you?
line
Because our deep
and
offensive line without them injuries, we were top 10 because Tua was making
well
that line look good. So we can use that example as a sample size.
see I think
We
I
were
I
we
think
were in the top half of the league when before what's his name came in there before Eichenberg started playing meaningful games
but
because Tua was
everybody
making them
on
look
that
better.
line
So that
has
is a good
improved
sample
with the
size against
offensive
top
coach.
defenses.
All right,
Everybody on the
let me rip
line
off
has
these rushing
improved.
stats real quick. Let me rip off these rushing stats real quick. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. I'm going to change apps.
I can hear you,
I'm
bro.
here. I'm here.
We can hear you.
You still hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
How about
You
now?
went dark there for a second, Triple S. We
Yes.
can hear you now, though.
Okay, I think when I switch apps, you can't hear me. How about now when I'm kind of in between? Can you hear me now?
We can
Yes.
hear you now, loud and
Okay,
clear.
perfect. This works. So we're first in yards with 929. I think a lot of us know that.
Mm-hmm.
We're first in yards per carry with 6.9.
Crazy.
We're first in yards per game with 185.8. We're first in touchdowns with 12. We have the second longest run of the year across the NFL at 76 yards for Devon Achane. We're 12th in carries. So we're first in all those categories and second in longest rush while being 12th in carries. Now, that's not first in carries, but we're in the top half. And I think we also run one of the fewer plays amongst all offensive teams in the league. So because we're able to score so quickly, I think that you have to factor that in when you factor in the amount of carries we have.
Exactly.
So even I don't think you can really say we're padding stats. I don't think you could say we're not running the ball enough. So of course, situationally, like you could pick out that one example from this past game where we could have ran the ball on the goal line. Sure, we passed it twice, should have been PI and then the pick. But overall, I think we've had a nice balance. The only thing I would say to agree with Lewis earlier is maybe in the goal line, run the ball a little bit more. But we have, to be honest, we've seen some Raheem Mostert 1-yard punch-ins. And then I would even call the two flip passes to Devon Achane, I believe it was against Denver. I'd kind of call those extensions of the run, even though they're technically pass touchdowns.
I agree.
So really,
I
that
agree with
rushing
that.
touchdown number could be higher.
Well, what you
I
can
agree.
fall into the
flips
trap
could
of being
count.
also accused of padding stats is when it is at the 6 minute mark in a 28-point deficit against the Bills, you kept two in the game and took Tyreek Hill and Waddle out. You wasn't making up 28 points without them two in the game and still keeping your star quarterback in the game.
Yeah,
That's
no, that's a
where
good
you can
point,
get
Crypto.
accused of padding stats.
Yeah, why is he still in the game at that point? That is
That's
a
a
good
good
point.
That's
point.
when
And
the
same with
accusation could
Denver.
come.
Same with Denver. He was in too long.
To play devil's
Right.
advocate
When you
for
keep
that,
them in there
Crypto,
longer, you can't do that and expect to make up a 28-point deficit and be an honest broker.
That's
But
true.
Crypto, to play devil's
But you
advocate for that,
also,
when it
though,
comes to the
if
stat padding allegations, a lot of people would say that his number one stat pad that he wants to get, he's claimed it multiple years now, he wants to get Tyreek Hill 2,000 yards. So that kind of goes against that narrative, the fact that he took him out late in that game against Buffalo. So
and it
Well,
goes
the
against
2,000 yards is
narrative.
different, but he's the one that will be accumulating yards regardless because he's still in the game and you're calling passing plays.
And it goes against the
Regardless if
narrative
Tyreek
too.
Hill is stat padding for his own personal sake, but we're talking about when the quarterback get accused of stat padding.
But
Your
but it
coach ain't
also
helping you
goes
out.
to it also goes to the
That had nothing
point
to do
that
with
in the
Tyreek Hill.
NFL, you don't take quarterbacks out the game. If you watch the NFL, I don't care how bad you're getting beat, they don't put them other players in the game. The starting
That's
quarterback
cap.
stays in the game. What? Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Well, let me just intervene right here with a short, quick one. Another reason why this particular discussion is happening is because of the contention from the national media now, according to some, that it is McDaniel and our successful scheme that is making Tua look good versus Tua himself carrying us to victory. There are these two competing narratives that were debated earlier today, right?
Gotcha.
And we got camps on both sides who are pulling in two different directions, and we can't seem to meet in the middle and have a discussion at it. Maybe a little bit of both. Tua has improved. Tua has become a much better, smarter, more efficient quarterback, right? But still, it is McDaniel's, improved ultra aggressive scheme with the motions and this and that throw teams off, right? That has allowed for Tua to be successful in pockets, but that there still needs to be some development in Tua for him to take his game to another level.
And Mike McDaniel showed he had the ability to take him out, but when he had a 50-point lead in the game and it goes in the other direction, he took him out early in the fourth quarter. So what's the difference?
There's just an extension of the Tua-non versus, people who don't support Tua as much. This is what's happening today. This is where
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, because when I think too,
there was no excuse to take your star receivers out and leave your quarterback in there and hang for dry and possibly get them injured.
I think it's funny though too, man. It's funny that the media will say, they just need to keep Tua healthy and they're good, and then the media will also say, well, it's just a system. And it's a system quarterback. It's like you got to pick one. I think it's a little bit of both, bro. We see him force some stuff and still need development, and then we see him throw. Like, bro, I don't know if you guys saw it was not discussed much on the broadcast, but after he threw that pick, he came back on that end of second half drive where we drove down and kicked the field goal. He threw a ridiculously accurate, beautiful bullet to Waddle in a similar situation with 2-3 guys there. And I personally made note, like, he can squeeze it in sometimes, though ill-advised the first time, but the second time he could do it. He just got to learn when he's forcing it and when he's actually able to do it, And he's still going to throw picks here and there. All the best quarterbacks threw picks. I'm not putting him there yet. I'm just saying I noticed that. It was an interesting little thing I picked up on. That was a bullet to Waddle with in between two guys on that next drive. So at least he's
still
resilient.
a relatively young quarterback who's going to continue to develop and get better. But there's some in the community who want to make him like you can't say anything bad about him or you're a hater, right? And anytime the Dolphins struggle, you cannot point any sort of criticism at Tua. If not, you're the worst hater in the world and not on the bandwagon. That battle continues within the Dolphin community.
Yes, it
and
does.
That's where a lot of this stuff is coming from. This energy.
Bro. You're right. You're definitely right. I remember even after one of the picks, there were people posting like, no one saw that this or that, like trying to make an excuse. I'm like, bro, I'm not saying he sucks. He made a mistake there. I mean, it is what it is. But I hear you, KP. I think that is still going on. I try to put it behind me because I'm trying to just be in the middle and just rock out and just be objective. But you're right. That war is still going on. And sometimes I forget that because I'm in my own little world.
And there's too much on either end of that. Right?
Yeah,
there's people that I don't care what Tua does, he's crap. That's what there's a lot of people on that end of the scope. But if you will look, Larry, I guarantee you, if you go back whenever Tua has thrown an interception and you look what he does when he comes back in on the next drive, usually there is some gorgeous pass where he goes right back at the mistake he made and he goes back and makes it right. And, clearly he does need to learn when he can force it in and when he can't. But I will proffer to you that even Dan Marino didn't always understand that you can't put it in there when sometimes, of course, he could when you're going like, no way. But sometimes even the great Dan couldn't do it.
Dan, he led the league in interceptions too a lot of times because he was a gunslinger. People forget about that. I love Dan, but he threw a lot of picks.
Yeah, he did. Putting it in places where it was not possible.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But
by the way,
you can get carried away with the Marino picks. Brett Favre made a living off of him and then stop him from being a Hall of Fame Super Bowl quarterback.
And by the way, the narrative you were telling me about
than Marino, so you got to bring Marino into this.
And by the way, that narrative
I'm just
about
making a comparison there about
Brett Favre was much more
everybody
egregious.
Throws picks. Yeah, Favre was more egregious. He had a better team.
I'm not talking about Dan being egregious at all.
Hey,
please, I'm not calling him out at all.
Favre Favre was
That-
more egregious, trust me.
Hey,
And I loved him.
somebody
Dan didn't have the
had-
team around him that Favre had. What do we
Hey,
got here?
somebody hand crypto a brownie.
A Snickers, bro. You get a little hostile when you're hungry. Any
Hey,
QB
Pam,
can win.
Pam, to the point you made
Yeah, I love
earlier-
that. It's true.
Pamela, to the point you made earlier,
No,
I want to
Doc.
bring up another example from the game that kind of shows Tua in the same light. I don't know if you guys remember this on the last drive before halftime, where we were able to drive down the field and get 3 points, which was huge. I thought set the tone for the second half. There was a play on that drive where Tua was sacked by Kayvon Thibodeau, put the drive in jeopardy. And what did he do on the very next play? So Kendall Lamb got beat. It's all good. We hurried up to the line. There was a little bit of pressure on the next play. He stepped up in the pocket. He took off running and actually picked up 7 yards, slid and protected himself. And I believe, if I'm going to check right now, I think that might have been the last play. We might have spiked it after that. And that's another thing right there. He showed tremendous poise to not clock it right away, to realize, hey, it's 3rd down. If I clock it right away, it'll be 4th down. We're not going to run another play anyway. So I'm going to let it drain down to 4 seconds. But I just love the fact that he was able to bounce back from a sack, not get rattled, rally the troops up to the line, scramble for 7 yards, protect himself, and then have the poise to clock it with 4 seconds left and let us get 3 points and get into halftime.
It's all about confidence. That's something our quarterback over the years have not really had. I don't really think our quarterbacks of the past, Tannehill or some of these other guys we've used, they don't have the confidence to get right back up and make something happen like Tua does. Just like, for example, when he does throw these picks, because it's going to happen during the season, I'm not worried. I'm not like scared to put him out there. You don't see him throwing his helmet down, sitting down like, can't believe I did this. I'm a horrible player, blah, blah, blah. He's not like that. He gets back in, has a smile on his face, and he is willing to make the shots. We used to complain because he doesn't pick his receiver and let it fly. Now he does. You know what I mean? He takes the shots like what a veteran receiver that is at top of his game should be doing.
And I just want to address, by the way, what Lucci said. He said Dan Marino didn't throw that many picks in his career. Dan Marino's actually 8th on the all-time interceptions list with 252.
Yeah.
Just
You know,
collectively.
I'm not knocking Dan. I'm not knocking him, but he's got a lot of picks.
You'll get him.
Go ahead, KP.
When they
What's up?
start coming late in his career.
No, I was saying I just was agreeing with you, Ali, that to his poise, right? His command of the offense are certainly, glaring improvements in his game versus past seasons where he did seem, like you pointed out, to be under a lot of stress, beating himself up after mistakes and things like that, which were obvious. I mean, some of them were his mistakes, and you can definitely see he feels more comfortable in doing and carrying out his job this year for sure. Just agreeing with you.
Even last season, when he would.
I'm sorry, Pamela. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead.
That's okay, Ali. So thank you. But even last season, if you go back and you look, when he would throw a pick, and I'm not talking about Christmas Day game, but he would throw a pick and he would come back and he would do the same play or a very similar play and would connect and it would be beautiful. So, literally you're watching the guy going, okay, didn't quite get it on that one, but come right back in and go back at it. And, that is, like you said, him showing a lot of confidence.
You don't see Zach Wilson, like what's going on with the New York Jets, for example, right? I swear every game I see this quarterback, I think he's going to get on the field and cry. Like that's how bad it is.
I know.
Right? I'm just being honest. That's how I see it.
You see his
and
messed
I don't
up
see that
spike
with
the
my
other day?
quarterback. Say that again, Larry.
Zach Wilson screwed up the spike right before the half in that game. In the Denver game, Zach Wilson didn't spike the ball in time, and they didn't kick the field goal. Totally blew it.
Yeah, it's just like every day. It's something that I'm like, what year is he in now? It's like the second or third year now, I think, right? Zach Wilson.
He's in his third, I think. Yeah.
This is the third. Yeah. So I don't see any progression at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting to see Tua from year 1, year 2, year 3. You know what I mean? And
there's
year
progression.
Year 4. Yeah.
Progression.
Yeah.
Definite
Yeah,
progression.
Zach Wilson's still definitely in a fog right now in this game. He's still behind the play. He doesn't understand all the concepts. But he may, with the reps, he may break through eventually.
He's
But
starting to
he's
sling it a
going through
little
it.
better, which worries me. But he doesn't he still hasn't broken through. But he is starting to play a little more loose.
Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah, see those sides too.
Raphael, I don't want
2 weeks
Marino
we
to
have.
give
You
up
can
his
say that, man.
number to Tua. I promise
No one
you, I
does.
don't.
Never.
Ideally, it'll be 13 and then 1, both retired if we're lucky, with more Super Bowl rings for both of them, maybe. So Marino actually gets one as a member of the front office.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
I mean, Dan.
By the way,
Dan
Crypto and I took a
is,
picture right in front of that statue. I'm gonna show up this Thursday.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Awesome.
The Marino
I got a picture of Joe and I when he met me at this event too. I got to post that on the channel too. But look, we're all ready for Carolina. We know we need to win it. We know we got to win it, and then the big tests start rolling in again. So that's where we're at. I want to do final thoughts from everybody now. I want to start with we'll start with KP, man. I'm looking at my screen, so that's the order I'm going in. But KP, what's your final thoughts on the win and on the upcoming game, man?
Great win, man. We did what we had to do. Wasn't the prettiest, right? But we did show signs of dominance on both sides of the ball, and I think that's a huge improvement from Dolphin teams in the past. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I still think though that there's some higher room for growth on both sides for us, but that goes to every single player, including Tua as well. And that's my final thought.
Hear you, brother. Thanks for coming up too. Hope to hear from you again soon.
Oh,
man.
KP.
Been a little
real
bit.
quickly. Hey, KP, were you there? You there?
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
here.
want to know that blue and orange shirt. Is that a extra large or 2X?
Man, I hope you saw your boy getting off though, man. He should have had 2 more sacks that game.
He had a half a sack that game. So
man, they robbed him. That should have been a full sack. And look, don't be surprised if he has a 2-3 sack outburst coming soon. So
yeah,
watch out.
Peace,
guys.
I'm with,
Peace, brother. And thanks, Miss Fins. Thank you very much for rocking out in the chat and joining us too, Miss Fins. Check out Miss Fins, everybody too. By the way, she's slaying on her show too. All right, Triple S. Final thoughts, my brother.
Hey, thank you for having me up, Larry.
Thanks for
my
coming.
final thought would be we're going to beat the Carolina Panthers. I think we all pretty much know that. You still got to go out and play the game on Sunday, but we should handle them very easily. So let's just get out healthy. Let's maintain a balanced offense. Let's show an ability to stop the run a little bit better. We haven't been horrible, but I've been seeing a little bit too many, 3 to 4 plus yard carries. So let's try to cut that down. And let's tune up for the game we're really all waiting for, which is Philadelphia.
Yes, sir. Agreed, brother. And looking forward to hearing from you again soon, talking to you again soon, my bro. Thanks for coming up tonight. Later, bro. Crypto, final thoughts.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess my final thought is it's good to be in a position where we are. However, beating bad teams is not winning the Super Bowl. You only get accolades when you start beating the teams you're going to eventually face in the playoffs. And I guess it wouldn't even be Philadelphia. It would be Kansas City and other AFC teams before you can get to the point of playing the best NFC team like San Francisco or Philly in the first place.
True.
You got to get through your conference, start beating them first, and then start worrying about how you stack up against the rest of the elite teams in the other conference. So, yeah, I think there's some progress has been made. So don't open yourself up. My thing is, when I was saying earlier, just don't open yourself up and leave the door open to be accused of those things such as stat padding and things like that, and then try to come up with some innuendo way to justify it when there's really no excuse to leave your quarterback on a limb out there when the game is pretty much in the bag in either direction, whether you up 40 or down 40.
True.
So it's just no excuse when you're taking your other star players out and then try to use that as a cover to say, oh, since we took our star players out, there could be no reason for stat padding. Tua has proven he can get the ball to other receivers other than Tyreek and Waddle, so that's no excuse. Tua has done it before without those 2 receivers. It's just the numbers are not as large, but he still got it done. So don't leave the door open to be accused of that. That's all I was saying.
Got you. Yeah, I got you. That makes sense.
But right. So it's gonna be an interesting stretch. We're coming up on the second game of the second quarter of the season, games 5 through 8. So I'm looking forward to being at the Philly game. I'll be in the building in that one as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing being out there to watch us play against the Eagles in that game. So yeah, Triple S was right. We got to still play the football game against Carolina. We can't overlook. The fans may can overlook, but hopefully the Dolphins ain't thinking like the fans and overlooking this team. And so, because you don't want to be the one, you don't want to be the first to lose to a team that ain't won a game.
True story.
Because to Pam's thing, that did happen 3 years ago. We were the first team to lose to a team that lost 22 consecutive games in a row.
Yes.
So you said that was disastrous. That team lost 22 in a row before we gave them their first W. So we don't want to do this this upcoming week. Just go take care of business, and then you will prove that you're not like those previous teams. If you do drop this one, then it will be the same old Dolphins.
True. Right. I hear you. And good luck in Philly. Let us know how that experience goes, man. You got that's a power move right there going into Philly.
Right. Yep.
So let us know how that goes.
Thanks,
Make
Larry.
Sure we know.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, bro.
I'm gonna have lots of footage, man. I'm putting all the footage on Twitter, man. Putting the images up there.
I love
Let y'all know Philly may boo Santa Claus because they I have to remind everybody that's the fan base that boos Santa Claus. So
yes,
in the rankings of fan bases, they got to be at the bottom. So
yes,
you know,
and I'm about an hour and 15 up the turnpike if you need some reinforcements, bro. But good luck. All right, Crypto. Have a good night, my brother.
Good night, brother.
Too, man. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Bye. Doc Brown, final thoughts.
Yeah, I disagree with the fact that we have to beat the good teams during the regular season. Certainly, we want to beat them, but if we beat Buffalo and Philadelphia and Dallas and Kansas City and we lose in the first round of the playoffs, it ain't gonna matter. The only thing matters this year is playoff wins. That's it. We good enough to get in the. Certainly, you want to build some momentum, and maybe you want to prove it to yourself. But if we don't win in the first round of the playoffs, none of this really, really matters at all. Just win and get the 11, 12 wins any way you can, and then be ready for the postseason push.
Gotcha.
And thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being up, brother.
Thanks, Doc Reg. See you. Thanks, Doc.
Miss Pam, final thoughts.
Yes. Well, I want to say that I think on the game, in the game on Sunday, we played a little fast and loose.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's because that's who we are. I think that's because we could. The game was well in hand, and I think, they were kind of throwing the ball around a little bit, trying to figure some stuff out, see what works, what doesn't.
Shut up.
And so, we obviously can't do that against just any team or at any time in a game. We absolutely have to focus on every single team, including the Carolina Panthers. We don't want to hand them, exactly like y'all were saying, we do not want to hand them their first win. Not us. Let someone else do it, not us. But yeah, so I think we're going to take care of business. I think we are that team this year because we are taking care of the teams that are in front of us, with the exception of Buffalo, but then Jags did that for us, so that was good.
Right. I hear you, Miss Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you for being up, Pam. It's great to have you on again, and come back soon to join us again, as always.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks,
right,
guys.
Pam.
Good night.
Talk to you soon.
Good night, Pam.
Greg Wilkins.
Ali, final thoughts, my brother.
No problem. I'll make it quick. Thank you for having me, Larry. I really appreciate it. And as you said, all throughout the show, #free Larry K, please.
Yes, sir. Let's free me.
In addition to that, I kind of agree with Doc Brown. I don't think you necessarily have to focus on beating the big games like Buffalo or Philly or Kansas City. What I think you need to do is manage your schedule properly, right? winning the games that you should absolutely win without a doubt, right? And then in turn around, you can still win 1 or 2, maybe 3 of these games possibly, but you don't necessarily need to. You look at Kansas City, so what? They lost to Detroit, right? They're still going to manage their season. They may even lose to Buffalo or another team that they have to play this season.
True.
That's big, right? And they'll still be one of those top teams. It's not about what they did in the past. It's how you manage your season, in my opinion. And that's how I see it. But anyway, that's my final thought. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and see y'all later. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, my brother. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
G, what's your final thoughts, bro? What's your final thoughts? What are they?
My final thoughts is we should destroy Carolina. We should take their hearts and souls. We should take their kidneys. It should be a bloodbath at the Hard Rock. I think the Panthers are the worst team in NFL. If the Dolphins lose this game, I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably yell a bunch over the week. I think if we lose to the Panthers, this fan base will crumble down to nothing. I think we should win this game. We should be 5-1 going into Philly. I think Philadelphia should be winning against the Jets this week. It should be 5-1 versus 6-0. And I think it's going to be a good game. Us, the fans, we should be looking at Philly. I think the players, they need to, focus on what they got to do to beat the living F out of the Carolina Panthers.
I agree with you, my bro.
How many points will we put up? I want to say 100, but probably maybe 50. 50 seems respectable.
Got you. I'm with you, G. All right, good thoughts. I'm looking forward to your reaction on Sunday, sir. I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Sunday, it was a little late because I went to the grandparents.
Yeah, tag me in it. Tag me in it on Twitter or whatever, and I'll try to post it too. Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah, send it. All right, and we're looking forward to your next intro next Tuesday too. So.
Yeah.
Later, brother.
Good night.
Whoops, I removed the wrong guy. Bye, G. Final thoughts.
That's a sign of the police. Anyway, man. Like I said, I was at the. I'm gonna be at the game this week. I'm looking forward to it. This Thursday with Anthony Pialucci, like we always do. I will be doing. I'm gonna be showing. The doing a little picture presentation. When I was there. And I tell you what, man, today was a great show. We had a lot of great guests. Dr. Reginald Brown was one of my guests in the blender. He was a phenomenal guest. I'm gonna try to get him on as a featured guest one of these days. So you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Be on the lookout for that. So with that being said, now I just fins up. I got another one of these for this Monday, ready, locked and loaded. So that being said, I bid you adieu.
I love it. Talk to you soon,
Peace.
Shake, and they'll see you Thursday, my brother.
That's what's up. Peace.
Later, bro. Guys, that was another edition of LG Shaking the Panel. If you haven't done so yet, check the Cash App that I posted on here. It's Lawrence Crane. Send any support you can. It is what it is. We'll be back at it with the monetization and the ads and, keeping our lights on, hopefully in January. But nonetheless, it was a great panel tonight. Great to see all of you guys. Great to talk fins. Great to just, in general, chop it up with a diverse array of opinions. And you see how we chop it up on this channel. It's always a coherent conversation. It's always worth listening to. It's always a lot of fun. So it's always a pleasure hosting the show every Tuesday. And watch out for my content that pops up. Sporadically, there's always a post-game reaction. I didn't get the chance to do a Fury Friday forecast on the Dolphin Den last week because of the demonetization. It was just a hectic week, but I'll be back this week with that. And then I go live every now and then after games and et cetera, et cetera. So make sure you keep up and catch up and follow up and stay with us. And Thursdays, there's the preview show at 7 with Shake and Anthony, a.k.a. Lucci, and they're on here doing their thing. Remember, man, keep your memberships. If you got to renew them when it comes out, renew them when it comes out, and stay ready to support the channel. But in the meantime, man, free Larry K and fins up, and I will talk to all of you guys very, very soon. Catch you later. Peace.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice. voice, it's the best 10. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up